lamps no more. The urine with no thing.
I was okay till just now. Then I got this hot flash. Feels like an oven in here.
Well, what the hell ever then?
Hello!
Lately, my bladder got a mind of its own. I guess that's the menopause acting up.
Well, what the hell ever then?
I wondered if I could postpone the matter till next month.
You and I are taught respect. Okay. What I'm saying to you is that the law does not make a distinction between U.S. citizens and everybody else when it comes to being accused of crimes. Are you saying that that should not be in place? That if you happen to not be a citizen, you get to be thrown into a jail with no process at all?
I'm saying that these people are effectively terrorists. They walked across our borders illegally. Okay. They are violent, and I don't really want them here.
But doesn't the government have to prove that they are who they say they are?
Correct. I think.
That's all we're saying. That's all.
I mean,
you can say it
eventually.
It's not a concession that you like Tren de Aragua. It's just a question of the basics of civics in this.
I think eventually the government will have to show all of its cards on everybody that they have detained, deported, or done anything to in this arena. But there is no doubt that the Trump administration is rounding up effectively terrorists who came across here illegally, committed horrific acts, and do not need to be.
They are doing that, perhaps, but they're also doing a lot of other things, too. And that's why the courts are asking questions about it. We do have to leave it there, because coming up next, our panel is going to give us their nightcaps. They're going to tell us what everyday item is overdue for an upgrade, inspired by the New York Yankees and their new special bats.
Feeling anxious?
I don't know what's going on.
Don't worry.
Put your feet up. Don't panic.
We can help you cope.
Oh, disassociation.
It's all in fire.
Did you not find that comforting?
Have I got news for you? Saturday at 9 on CNN.
CIDP is no walk in the park.
That's true.
But I take Vyvgart Hytrulo.
Same. It's the first major innovation in CIDP treatment in over 30 years.
Vyvgart Hytrulo has been proven to significantly reduce the risk of symptoms getting worse.
My CIDP can be treated with once-weekly injections that take about 30 to 90 seconds.
Do not use Vyvgart Hytrulo if you have a serious allergy to any of its ingredients. Serious allergic reactions like trouble breathing and decrease in blood pressure leading to fainting, and allergic reactions such as rashes, swelling under the skin, shortness of breath, and hives have been reported. The most common side effects are respiratory and urinary tract infections, headache, and injection site reactions. It may increase the risk of infusion-related reactions and infection. Tell your doctor if you have a history of infections or symptoms of an infection.
I'm hitting fairways with the fellas.
I'm hitting the road with my number one. That's how we live vividly with Vyvgart Hytrulo.
Visit livevividly.com or talk to your neurologist.
Taking a stand for investors. Everyone says it. Vanguard doesn't. Announcing Vanguard's largest expense ratio cut ever, which includes nearly half of our fixed income and equity funds. Learn more at Vanguard.com.
Let's get you home.
Paying your rent should count for something. With rent rewards from Rocket Mortgage, your rent counts towards buying a home. Helping turn more renters into owners. Get started at Rocket.com.
Oh, don't forget, dinner with my boss.
Trent, our new ultimate adhesive will save the day. New Polygrip Ultimate all-in-one. Get superhuman hold, food seed, and comfort.
If you're not for chocolate, it would ask for.
Polygrip.
Wait, Noom has chill pill and meds now?
Noom, a psychology-based weight loss company?
Yes, Noom combines medication and behavior change, so you can lose the weight and keep it off.
And it starts at just $149.
Noom, the smart way to lose weight. Hey, thanks so much for hosting, sweetie. I hear you found someone special. Yeah, he's a keeper.
Is that dog food in the fridge? It's not dog food. It's fresh fed. Real meat, real veggies for Peter. Eggs, Peter. Shut up, that one. You do make a pretty cute couple.
She's a woman who prosecutors say pretended to be a wealthy German heiress.
It doesn't sound like you really regret what you did. It wasn't a victimless crime, right? I mean, you took advantage of people.
United States of Scandal with Jake Tapper, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
Between Molly leaving and Mom's osteoporosis, thought life was going to slow down. Boy, was I wrong.
If you have postmenopausal osteoporosis and are at high risk for fracture, Evenity can help you rapidly build new bone in just 12 months. Evenity is the only bone builder that also helps slow bone loss and is proven to significantly reduce spine fracture risk.
The Evenity she's taking builds new bone. Builds new bone. So yeah, we still like babysit and brunch with the ladies.
Evenity can increase risk of heart attack, stroke, or death from a heart problem. Tell your doctor if you have had a heart attack or stroke. Do not take Evenity if you have low blood calcium or are allergic to it, as serious events have occurred with Evenity. Signs include rash, hives, swelling of the face or throat, which may cause difficulty in swallowing or breathing, muscle spasms or cramps, numbness, or tingling. Tell your doctor about severe jawbone problems. If they have been reported to Evenity, report hip, groin, or thigh pain, unusual thigh bone fractures that occurred with Evenity. Ask your doctor about building new bone with Evenity. All the news, all on Laura Coates Live, next on CNN.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Purple, greatest sleep ever invented.
We got a job.
That's because purple mattresses are made with patented gel flex grid technology.
Do not go to bed with that kind.
It's a purple sleep.
We are back, and it's time for the News Nightcap, Torpedo Bat Edition. The Yankees are setting a franchise home run record with a new type of baseball bat, ones with different shapes and that aren't against the rules, apparently. So each of you now have a few seconds to tell us what else is overdue for an upgrade. Franklin, you're first.
I need a universal phone charging cable. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, 18 different cables. Like, and the tyranny of the charging cable. Give me one that I can use for everything. And then I'm good.
I have 5 kids. I need an automatic laundry basket sorter. And when this stocks, the clothes just go to all the kids.
Importantly, in the year of our Lord 2025, why can we not have an umbrella that does not totally disappoint you and blow open when you need it most? It feels like if people can go to space and back, we should have an umbrella that does not do that.
I got a 4 and a 2-year-old. My wife will tell you I still can't collapse a stroller. Maybe it's just one part.
You got the wrong stroller, my friend.
By the way, I just want to point out, they make those bats in Louisville, Kentucky at Louisville Slugger, so congrats down there. Look, mine is this, an everyday item that needs an upgrade, Leslie Stahl in 60 Minutes. After I saw Leslie ask hostage Keith Siegel this weekend, when he said he'd been starved in captivity, he said, well, maybe they just didn't have enough food to give you. And he had to set her straight. She's been there since 1991. Well, I'm sorry, Leslie, it's time for an upgrade. That was a terrible question. Horrible moment since the coverage of Keith started.
Well, we will leave it on that note. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for watching Newsnight. You can catch me anytime on your favorite social media platforms, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Laura Coates Live starts right now. Well, tonight the Democrats hope for a political earthquake in Florida. The anger against Musk and Trump deliver one. Plus, Senator Cory Booker live on the Senate floor right now, vowing to stay there all night to protest Trump as he now fuels talk of a 3rd term. And what do you get when a farmer, a car dealer, and a home builder walk into a bar? Tariff talk unfiltered. Tonight on Laura Coates Live. So in just about, 8 hours from now, voters in Florida are going to start voting and rendering judgment on President Trump's 2nd term. It'll be a critical first test for both Republicans and Democrats, by the way. 2 key congressional elections are taking place tomorrow. And tonight, Trump is joining his party. Well, he might be in some serious jeopardy of losing.
I just don't want to take chances where you guys say, how's the election going? We have a congressional election that's a little bit close. I guess the one is in good shape, but the other one's a little bit close.
Well, that close one he's talking about?
It's like Waltz's old suit in Florida. Waltz won it by 33 points just 5 months ago, everyone. And Trump himself won it by more than 30 points. But not looking nearly as rosy for Trump's current choice, Randy Fine. He's been outraised by the Democratic candidate, Josh Weil, by 10-1. Republicans have intervened. We've heard 2 have told Fine to get his shit together, their quote. And now he's telling Republicans to go vote because Democrats, they're motivated.
Democrats are angry because every time Donald Trump wins, they lose. They want open borders. They don't want to stop the waste, fraud, and abuse. And so they voted, and a majority of Republicans haven't, and we need them to go and vote.
Well, Fine's Democratic challenger says the Republicans, well, they have been AWOL.
And the person running on the Republican side has shown no interest in attempting to reach out, communicate with the district, talk to people, or say that he'll serve them. He is adamant over and over again that he is going to serve only one person if he is elected, and that person doesn't live in District 6.
Well, that Florida race is not the only big one tomorrow. You might not think a state Supreme Court race would get so high profile, but it is. In Wisconsin, it has. It's brought in a ton of money, huge money. We're talking Musk money. The billionaire and groups aligned with him have dropped more than $20 million in support of the Trump-backed candidate. And he's painting the race in about as dire terms as you can get.
What's happening on Tuesday is a vote for which party controls the U.S. House of Representatives. That is why it is so significant. And whichever party controls the House, it to a significant degree controls the country, which then steers the course of Western civilization. So it's like, I feel like this is one of those things that may not seem that it's going to affect the entire destiny of humanity, but I think it will.
Sounds pretty serious, right? I mean, it's serious enough for Musk that he even handed out 2 $1 million checks at that rally. And the candidate he's backing wasn't even there. That candidate is Brad Schimmel, who's taking on Judge Susan Crawford. But Schimmel is trying to say Musk is doing his own thing.
I don't control any of the spending from any outside group, whether it's Elon Musk or anyone else that has an organization spending money in this race. I've run a 72-county race in Wisconsin. I've campaigned in every county for 16 months. I'm not running for anything for Elon Musk or any other person.
But Judge Crawford, having Musk at center stage is right where she wants him. She's been betting that tying him to the race will energize her voters.
So let me talk just for a minute or two about my opponent, Elon Musk. This is about our Supreme Court. It is about our rights, and it's about our state. And we're not going to let Elon Musk take any of that away from us.
While Judge Crawford rallies voters in Wisconsin, one Democratic lawmaker here in Washington, D.C. is trying to give a jolt to his own party. Senator Cory Booker is delivering a marathon speech on the Senate floor to protest Trump's actions. This is actually live. He's been there, and he's there right now, and it's now, 4 hours and counting? Senator Booker quoting the late John Lewis, explaining why he's even doing it this way.
I rise with the intention of getting into good trouble. I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. I rise tonight because I believe sincerely that our country is in crisis.
Joining me now, the author of The Red Letter on Substack, Tara Palmieri, former Trump campaign senior advisor, Brian Lanza, and former Obama campaign advisor, Amisha Cross. Glad you're all here. I want to begin with you, Brian, because, look, Florida voters, they like to cast their ballots pretty early. But the Republican early turnout in Florida is down since the last time we had a major election, like with the presidential election. So this is the place when Trump won by 30 points. Are Republicans nervous about the turnout impacting who ultimately wins?
Listen, I think Republicans are nervous about turnout. They should be nervous about turnout. I don't necessarily think it's a larger reflection of where the electorate is with President Trump. I think it's more of a reflection of a candidate who's just completely underperformed at fundraising, underperformed at debates, underperformed at showing to events.
Why has he?
He probably takes it for granted. Probably thinks it's a Republican district who won it by 30 points. The previous congressman won it by 33. I really don't have to do much. You see that happen from time to time, and that's where we are. And we've sounded the alarms, and we're going to do what we can to close this out and make sure that we win at the end. But it is a lot closer than we wanted it to be for sure.
How did Democrats seize on momentum? Had they been effective in trying to counter?
I think they've definitely been effective. And Brian's right. Anytime, and we've seen this across Democratic in any race, and you've seen it previously in race after race, you're not going to put forth that much effort. That's how in New York AOC became the congressional leader. But I think that at this point it is Democrats are really tying this to Elon Musk and the money that he has been able to funnel into several campaigns, talking about Doge, talking about a wannabe elected leader who is not actually hosting any events or having those conversations. And that falls at the backdrop of Republicans not hosting town halls across districts in America. So I think that for Democrats, it is leaning in on you don't care about the people. Watching folks continue to complain about their high cost of living, the price of eggs, so on and so forth, and really engaging on that front and tying this candidate to a do-nothing Republican Party.
I mean, Tara, I want to go to live picks right now because happening right now. You see on the Senate floor, you've got Senator Cory Booker holding a talkathon right now in an effort to protest Trump's actions. He is promising, by the way, to go as long as he is physically able. And how long I could probably go. But I mean, not the normal people who don't want to talk their whole lives. I'm just thinking about that. But that's, is it too risky that he's doing this? Is it worthwhile?
I mean, the party certainly is looking for a leader right now. That feels like there is a leadership vacuum. So perhaps Cory Booker sees this as a moment to step up. I think people were hoping for more from Chuck Schumer, and they were disappointed a few weeks ago when it came to that continuing resolution that he helped the Republicans pass. Hakeem Jeffries is an okay communicator, but like Cory is he's leading the Senate communications arm, and I think he's positioning himself for 2028. I mean, I've heard that from my sources too. So this is the kind of move you would make when you're trying to elevate your profile. Not surprised to see it.
I mean, both of my guests at the table kind of grimaced for a second at the thought of 2028. Why?
I don't grimace at the election. I grimace at the theatrics. Like, I'm already bored by Cory Booker's four-hour speech. What is he protesting? That Trump's joking about a third term? Like, what does the Democratic Party stand for? So I'm still curious about. We're 4 months into Trump winning. They're still in disarray. They're trying to figure it out. The only success they're going to have in Florida is because a Republican candidate fell asleep at the switch. I still don't know what they're pushing. What's their agenda? What do they stand for? And Cory talking 4 hours, maybe talking for 10 hours. I guarantee he's not going to tell the American people what they want to hear.
Is it effective, Misha?
It depends on what's said. I think that at this point, the Democrats are in a lot of trouble. We've seen the recent polling. They're running neck and neck with Doge. People hate Doge. People hate the Democratic Party. And the majority of people who are hating the Democratic Party right now are also Democrats. So he's got to step out of the fray and try to make some noise, not just for himself, but to show Democrats that he's doing something, that Democratic leaders are doing something. Because the biggest concern right now on the ground is that for traditional Democratic voters, they're saying, what are you guys doing at all? They're ticked off about Donald Trump and some of the policies he has. They're obviously mad at Elon Musk and Doge, but they're equally mad at the Democratic Party. So I think that he's trying to, in some way, show people. Democrats do have some fight in them. Whether they're watching him filibuster till 4, 5, 6 a.m., I don't think so, but he's doing something.
If Green Eggs and Ham comes out, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going home at midnight. Let me ask you this, though, Tara, on this point, because, look, sometimes the party that's in power is the natural target, right? And the minority party, this time the Democrats, would simply point out whether they think they're incompetent or that they're not doing enough or that they themselves are falling asleep at the wheel. When you're talking about Republicans, in Florida is an example. Let me ask you, though, to Signalgate and other controversies that have happened, will that be enough to counter what the frustration is towards Democrats?
I think Signalgate really riles up the base of the Democratic Party. And I actually think it really does it weakens the base of the Republican Party because it's such an easy story to understand. And it impacts red voters and blue voters. It impacts our servicemen and their safety and the governance of this country. And if there's one thing that unites people from the left and the right and the apolitical, it's lack of good governance. And that's how you win an election. Like, that's how you win, because you get those apolitical people to tune in. They're saying, why are you not handling the COVID crisis? Okay, there's not a lot of base support for Joe Biden, but he was able to win because they were unhappy with Trump's governance. If it appears that the chaos around Trump is too much, you're going to see apolitical people come out and vote in 2024 and reward the Democrats, whether they like them or not.
You know, I know CNN's reporting tonight that Trump is keeping Waltz on board. What are you hearing?
You know, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about Waltz from his colleagues privately, a lot of frustrations. The cardinal sin, of course, was the fact that he talked to a reporter, that he had that person's number in his phone, not the fact that there was classified information being shared in a, very unsecure way. It looks like a major security breach. And I just think it's pretty rich because, so many of the people around Donald Trump talk to reporters all the time. Signal is always used. And frankly, Mike Waltz was on a media tour this summer as he was trying to elevate his profile. I mean, he was a 2-term congressman from Florida who voted to certify the election for Joe Biden. He tried to come on my podcast. I was supposed to have him booked just because of a scheduling conflict. We couldn't make it happen. But, he was looking to get out there and build buzz. And so it's not surprising to me that he would talk to the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, who covers national security, which is his specialty. I actually just didn't think that Mike Waltz would end up being the NSA. I didn't really follow up after that because he didn't have that big of a profile.
Well, he's got a big profile now and a lot of buzz, Brian, and certainly maybe he didn't want what he has right now. But how do Republicans pivot, and why hadn't they done so effectively yet?
Yeah, it's because it's the first sort of public mistake that the administration has been a part of, and then it has become a revolving disclosure, right? It wasn't a clean mistake. It wasn't, we made this mistake, all the facts came out pretty fast, and then we moved on. You had, pieces of the story come out on Monday, pieces come out on Tuesday, more pieces coming out on Thursday. I think that's the problem with the story, is there's been so many denials, that, no, I don't know the guy, no, it was my aide who put it in there. Now you're feeding more information for reporters to chase down and to add to the story. I think they would have just been better off, saying, yeah, it got on there, the mission was a huge success by every measurement, and let's just move on. But it's the revolving disclosures that's killing it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what Senator Cory Booker might be saying about it, because it's an ongoing story. Thank you, everyone. There are much more tonight on the high-stakes race in Wisconsin, and Elon Musk's money and posts are impacting the race on the ground. We'll get perspective from someone who knows the state better than anyone. Wisconsin Democratic Party Chair Ben Wickler standing by. Plus, Trump cracks open Pandora's box by not rejecting talks of a potential third term. Is he serious? Can he do it? And would Republicans go along with it? All the answers are coming up.
Are you hungry? I'm hungry. Perfect.
So excited.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Transgender Day of Visibility, yes, the T.S. Madison Starter House is officially visible and open. Ladies and gentlemen,
This is cuisine at a different level.
Oh, yeah.
Food makes me so happy.
Yeah. Eva Longoria, Searching for Spain, premieres April 27th on CNN.
Just like a storm. Icy Hot. Also available at Icy Hot Pro with 2 max straight pain relief.
Travel tax free, 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at TurboTax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. 5 to 3 with TurboTax reissue. Once upon a time, there was this family. Pregnant with every ounce of soul. Thanks. Oh, understood. New series now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is the Emirates Premium Economy Seat.
Economy. Perhaps they need to call it something else.
You're seeing Skechers' famous glide step footwear everywhere. And now that famous design is available in hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Get the comfort and style of glide step now with the convenience of slip-ins with no bending down or touching your shoes. Try glide step Skechers slip-ins.
At Morgan Stanley, old school hard work meets bold new thinking to help you see untapped possibilities and relentlessly work with you to make them real.
When I was diagnosed with HIV, I didn't know who I would be.
But here I am, being me.
Keep being you and ask your healthcare provider about the #1 prescribed HIV treatment, Biktarvy.
Biktarvy is a complete one with one small pill. Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to undetectable and stay there, whether you're just starting or replacing your current treatment. Research shows that taking HIV treatment as prescribed and getting to and staying undetectable prevents transmitting HIV through sex. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare, life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Don't take Biktarvy if you take dofetilide or rifampin. Tell your healthcare provider about all the medicines and supplements you take if you are pregnant or breastfeeding or have kidney or liver problems. If you have hepatitis B, don't stop taking Biktarvy without talking to your healthcare provider. Common side effects are diarrhea, nausea, and headache.
No matter where life takes you, Biktarvy can go with you. Talk to your healthcare provider today. Gum problems could be the start of a domino effect. Periodontics Active Gum Repair Breath Freshener. Clinically proven to help reverse the 4 signs of early gum disease. A toothpaste from Periodontics, the gum experts. Spring forward this tax season with Straight Talk and get a free Moto G Power 5G with select plans, all with real unlimited data on America's most reliable 5G network. Because this tax season is free phone season. Straight Talk, available at Walmart.
Do you want me to come weekend? Okay. Okay.
Good thing Dash Pass saves you money on DoorDash, so you can skip the trip to the grocery store and focus on what really needs saving. Your sanity. With savings on groceries, you can afford to give yourself a pass. Dash Pass by DoorDash. Your door to more savings.
Welcome back. Have I got news for you? Meeting Saturday on CNN.
Well, the world's richest man is saying the Wisconsin Supreme Court election will affect, quote, the entire destiny of humanity. That's what he said. Now, for Wisconsinites, it will determine the balance of power in the state's highest court with critical issues like abortion and redistricting still to be decided. Earlier today, President Trump weighed in on the election, including his thoughts on the Democratic nominee, Susan Crawford.
Yeah, there's a big race, and I hope you get out and vote for the Republican. The woman is a radical left lunatic, and let's see who wins. But the woman will be very bad. And you know, Wisconsin's a big state politically, and the Supreme Court has a lot to do with elections in Wisconsin.
The woman, her name is Judge Crawford. The president endorsed her rival, Brad Schimmel, but has been notable absent from any campaign events, by the way, leaving Elon Musk to take up the mantle, holding a huge town hall event on Sunday while wearing the state's signature, well, cheesehead. CNN reports that Musk and groups aligned with him have poured more than $20 million into this race, making this the most expensive judicial race in history. Joining me now to dig into all of this is the chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, Ben Wickler. Ben, glad you're here. Ben, Musk appearing on stage Sunday, handing out not one, but two $1 million checks. He's poured millions into this race. Tell me what effect has that had?
Well, Elon Musk seems to think that Wisconsin is for sale.
Oh,
and it
I
might be
think
the
we're not
Brad
able to hear you
Schimmel.
for a second. Ben, are you there?
Oh, can you hear me now?
No, I can
Yes.
hear you. Go ahead. What effect has he had?
Well, Elon Musk might think that Wisconsin's for sale because Brad Schimmel, the Republican-backed candidate, has been for sale. Brad Schimmel has talked about buying knee pads so he could crawl around on his knees and beg, please, 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 to donors to give to his campaign. He went to Trump's inauguration, and shortly afterwards, Elon Musk both sued Wisconsin to change the rules around car dealerships for Tesla, and then started tweeting and eventually funneling money into the state. For a lot of voters, though, this is disgusting. The Supreme Court is supposed to be the highest judicial body, independent, a check on the executive branch. It's supposed to interpret the law, not advance a partisan agenda. The Schimmel campaign is all about ads saying that he's going to advance Trump's agenda. And that's what Musk keeps talking about. They're talking about locking in a partisan gerrymander in our congressional districts. And it's pretty clear that Elon Musk doesn't want the law to apply to him. I think that's actually really unpopular with Wisconsinites. It's why Susan Crawford is favored to win tomorrow. She's a candidate who really can't be bought by either side. She believes that we should have the rule of law equally for everyone. We shouldn't just do what the richest people in the world want the courts to do.
I want to touch on the favorability in a second, but first,
if it's not fully tight or if it's broken, extra nails fixes everything. Well, that's not good. That is all water coming from the safety pan underneath the air conditioning unit. Okay, well, let's check the rafters. Reno, not tight. And that one right there is broken. So we're missing some kick-out flashing. And also, these gutters are slow drawn. There's water ponding here. Should be going this way. And same with these gutters. Ripped shingle. Has some more damaged shingles. And a nail that's popped through and needs to be sealed. You guys, listen to me. You're not understanding. The more nails you put in, the better it is. It doesn't matter.
Donors. And, you know, the Wisconsin Democratic Party, which you chair, received $3.5 million from billionaires like George Soros, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Why should the public not view the money they donate on the same plane as that given from Elon Musk?
Well, Elon Musk is the only person right now who is running the federal government, dismantling Social Security, threatening to impeach judges when they get in his way, attacking the Veterans Administration, attacking the Postal Service, and essentially claiming that the law doesn't apply, Congress doesn't apply. He can do whatever he wants, no matter who it hurts. Simultaneously, he's the only major donor in this race that I'm aware of who has a case in the Wisconsin court system that will benefit his own bottom line. And he's given about 6 times as much as any other donor, the second biggest donor, by the way, also Republican multi-billionaires. So this is really, in a category by itself, something we've never seen before in Wisconsin, and more than anyone has ever donated to any judicial election in American history. If he does this in Wisconsin successfully, we can expect him to try it again in elections all over the country. And we have to ask ourselves, certainly we need campaign finance reform, but in the meantime, as voters, do we want people who've been bought and sold by Elon Musk? If we don't, we've got to elect Susan Crawford.
You know, Judge Crawford said her opponent was Mr. Schimmel, but instead was Elon Musk. And to your point, Crawford and other Democrats have gone after Elon Musk. His favorable rating in Wisconsin, just 41% versus 53% unfavorable. I suppose that's why you focus your attacks on him. I want to turn, though, to another issue because the Election Commission in Wisconsin they've reported that early in-person voting is actually up 37% over the Supreme Court election back in April of 2023. That shows some surges in some GOP strongholds in the state. Does that worry you that the actual turnout might be even higher?
Well, it's hard to spend $20 million through super PACs plus $3 million in giant checks. $3 million is given to the Wisconsin Republican Party. Hard to spend all that without affecting any votes. The question is whether Elon Musk is going to motivate more voters for Schimmel than Democrats and opponents of Elon Musk that he motivates to vote for Susan Crawford. We're seeing explosive turnout on both sides in this election. We don't know if this is going to be close or not. What we know is there's a level of engagement from voters here that goes beyond anything I've seen. People who feel panicked that the country's being ripped apart by Elon Musk and Donald Trump and who want a way to fight back. So that is propelling a ton of support for Susan Crawford in this race for a candidate who doesn't want to ban abortion, doesn't want to sell the state's highest court to the highest bidder in American history, and wants to keep Wisconsin for Wisconsinites.
What do you think of Senator Cory Booker's tactic in terms of protesting the president by speaking on the floor? He said as long as he is physically able to do so. Will this appeal to Wisconsin voters or others?
I think, this is a moment when for folks that are watching the kind of dismantling of our system of checks and balances of our federal government before our eyes, it's all hands on deck, everyone doing everything they can do. I will also say that tomorrow, Wisconsinites will be thinking about this Supreme Court race first and foremost. Elon Musk was just here. He's doing a town hall tonight. Donald Trump's talking about this in Washington, D.C. In Wisconsin, everywhere. There are people knocking on doors, making phone calls, ads on every screen, billboards up, mobile trucks with sound going around in different cities. We had one outside of Brewers game yesterday. Wisconsin is pretty hyper-focused on the Supreme Court race right now. And I think this is the first test of this new Trump era, of whether or not what Trump and Musk are doing is politically toxic. Because they can have all the money in the world, but if they're making voters furious, they're not going to win elections like the Wisconsin Supreme Court race or the midterms of 2026. And Republicans in purple districts had better pay attention to what happens tomorrow as they think about whether to stick with Musk as he attacks programs that allow working people to retire with dignity in this country.
It will indeed be a barometer. Ben Wickler, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
So while Elon Musk tries to block Judge Crawford from winning in Wisconsin, Republicans on the Hill are trying a couple ways to limit judges nationally. Tomorrow, House Judiciary Chairman Republican Congressman Jim Jordan from Ohio is going to hold a hearing addressing what he calls judicial overreach. It is the latest step in the GOP's pushback against court rulings that have blocked one of Trump's policies. But what does the public think about all this? CNN's chief data analyst Harry Enkin looked into all of it for us. He joins us now. Harry, I'm dying to know what the answer is. How does the country feel about the state of the judiciary?
Yeah,
Right.
the state of the judiciary, as far as the American public is concerned, is going down. I'll talk about the confidence here. Americans confident in the judiciary. Look at this. In 2020, it was 59%. Look at this drop by 2024, just 35%. That's a 24-point drop. Gallup says it's one of the largest drops they have ever seen in terms of confidence of the judiciary, and they've been looking at a ton of countries. And in fact, let's look at some other countries besides the United States. Let's look at the medium OECD countries. These are countries like Canada, France, Korea, Japan, the United Kingdom, etc. First world countries. Look at this. The median, 55% have confidence in their country's judiciary system compared to the United States this past year. Look at that, 35%. So confidence in the judiciary, as far as Americans are concerned, going down.
And just in 4 years, it's a huge drop as well, by the way. I mean, look, Republicans, they have not been progressive against Trump, but what about the core concept of judicial review? Do they have the right to review and decide the constitutionality of something?
Sometimes there's just some poll numbers that just jump up off the screen at me. Let's take a look here. All right, allow judges to review Trump's policies. Look at this. Overall, 77% say yes, compared to 23% that say no. Among Republicans, it is a majority, Laura, but it's just 50-50. Look at this, 44%. 44% say no, judges do not have the right to review Trump's policies. That is an outstanding number to me. I never thought I would see it, Laura.
Neither is the bench as well. I mean, they have the right to review things. That's kind of the premise of what they're doing. It's stunning to think about these numbers at this point in time. You know, Elon Musk, as you know, he's been calling to actually impeach judges who rule against Trump. How do Republicans feel about that?
Oh boy, again, you wouldn't believe it until you poll it. Impeach judges who rule against Trump. Look, 65% of the overall public opposes, but look at the majority of Republicans, Laura. 59% support this idea of impeaching judges who rule against Donald Trump. So Elon Musk, in this particular case, is with the majority of the Republicans. Again, this is poll numbers. I wouldn't believe them unless I saw them, but they're here, loud and clear, Laura.
Loud and clear, and kind of not going anywhere. Harry Ensign, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, Obama versus Trump in 2028.
I'd love that. Boy, that would be a good one. I'd like that.
President Trump fueling talk of a third-term run, and he has made a way for him to actually do it. The next step, Warren, he's not joking, and as we compare him to the European leader, currently in his fourth term.
Two major tests for President Trump, a state Supreme Court race in Wisconsin, and special elections in Florida. The Democrats bounce back, the first big verdict for voters since the November election. Follow CNN with the coverage. CNN election begins to its sentence.
Our animal, chemical animal strain, can help us to keep our animal for a lifetime. It's backed by science. It is clinically proven to strengthen our teeth. I would recommend this to basically everybody. It's really an amazing product.
This is what joint pain looks like when you keep moving without moving. Just 1 week, 12 hours of uninterrupted joint pain relief. The strength lasts 12 hours. One of the most powerful defense are the GFPC. One medical state of the world.
The world's potential.
Our billion kids are missing. We have to find them. Why are in America?
That was quite well done. 1920, we did all that April 10th, only on Prime.
As Congress gives the thumbs up, well, could that be Trump? These are all hypotheticals. And even Senate Majority Leader John Thune said that Trump can't serve another term without, quote, a change in the Constitution. And they could change the Constitution, but it's no cakewalk, my friends. You got to pass by 2/3 of Congress, ratified by 3/4 of the states. The longtime Trump ally Steve Bannon has a response to that cakewalk. We're working on it.
We want Trump in 28. That's what they can stand. A man like Trump comes along only once or twice in the country's history, right?
All right. Hold on. Hang on. What do we have to do to get Trump 2028? We got to show up and stay loud. Exactly. We got to maybe work the Constitution too. Although I think there's a way to slip through there, but you never know.
I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028.
You know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it.
With me now, Ann Applebaum, staff writer for The Atlantic and the author of the piece just out this morning, America's Future is Hungry. And I want to begin with what the president says he's not joking about. Why is it so difficult for people to believe he might be serious about seeking a third term?
Because we've all become very complacent about our Constitution, about the rule of law. We just assume these things will last because they've always lasted. And the idea that a president would actively seek to break the law and destroy the Constitution still seems incredible to Americans. And yet we have a president who's breaking the law every day, abolishing programs mandated by Congress every day. Nevertheless, this radical change in our politics is something I think people are just overwhelmed by and can't accept.
That's why your piece, I felt, was so striking. I mean, it's out this morning, and in it, you talk about how one person who changed the Constitution to stay in power is Hungary's autocratic leader, Viktor Orban. And in your piece, you write about how much MAGA leaders admire him. What is it about him that they find so appealing?
I think what they find appealing about Orban is that he's someone who was democratically elected. He was a legitimate leader of Hungary. But when he won election for the second time, he was very determined never to lose it. And so he set about undermining, reshaping, destroying all kinds of Hungarian institutions, from the judiciary to the media, to the civil service, to the universities. I think they particularly admire the way he actually destroyed the university, did all kinds of bureaucratic changes to make the other universities essentially loyal to him so that he could have influence over faculty and programs. All those things are people who are power hungry and who dream of locking in the presidency and locking in the U.S. government for good, see that and they find something admirable. You know, Viktor Orban set up a kind of one-party state. Very difficult for him to lose an election, and that's what they want too. And they're not actually all that. They're all not all that shy about saying it. And you heard Steve Bannon in the clips you just played saying more or less that.
And one of the things that struck me is the idea of the laws that were changed to make conduct that people would initially find illegal now to be in line with what he has changed the laws to talk about. And you write about how that America is spinning quickly in the direction of Hungarian populism, Hungarian politics, and Hungarian justice. But that means Hungarian stagnation, Hungarian corruption, and Hungarian poverty lie in our future too. So what kind of impact has Orban's rule actually had on this country?
This is very rarely looked at. A lot of people have written about Orban's language about immigrants, about his defiance of the European Union, about his role trying to court Trump and other European far-right political leaders and political parties. Not that many people look at what actually happened in Hungary, and what happened in Hungary is that it became one of the poorest countries in the European Union. It's stagnating, very poor health care, very poor education. A lot of Hungarians leave the country, especially educated Hungarians. There's a problem in some Hungarian hospitals because so many doctors have wanted to leave. It's a stagnant country. There's about between a fifth and a quarter of the Hungarian economy is now dominated by companies who have direct links to the prime minister. Many of them are led by his family members. His son-in-law has become particularly wealthy, but other members of his family have as well. You know, those are companies that exist because of their relationship with the state. They're not entrepreneurial. They don't have normal business practices. That's a big weight on the economy. And also the gradual deterioration of the rule of law scares off other companies. So you have people who really want to do business or want to make money stay away from Hungary because of the corruption, of the political pressure. I mean, you can't really exist there, even as a foreign company, unless you have some crony-ish relationship with the state and with the ruling party. And over time, over a decade, that's taken a real toll on the Hungarian economy. And in Hungary, a lot of those changes have been restricted or mitigated by the European Union, by other international institutions. I mean, those are things that we don't even have here in the United States.
It's striking, and people would be very prudent to read this and really reflect on, be careful what you wish for and who you admire if you don't look past the initial personality and the impact on the country instead. Ann Applebaum, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, a farmer, a car dealer, and a home builder walk into a bar to talk tariffs. Except the bar is actually my show. So forget the economists and get ready to hear from these business owners next.
What's up, Pearl Nation? It's your #1 broker with the best full-service wealth management skills in the biz.
Actually, I'm seeing something from Schwab.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Schwab lets you invest and trade on your own.
And if you want, they can even manage it for you.
Not to mention, Schwab has a team of specialists for taxes, insurance, and estate planning, all with low fees.
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Carl.
Schwab, a modern approach to wealth management.
Artificial intelligence is vital to America's economic future. We must lead in developing AI, including open and closed source models. As the global leader in AI, America can strengthen small businesses, create new jobs, and spread our tech innovations across the globe. But if Washington ties the hands of America's innovators, China will gain a global economic advantage. America must lead. America must innovate. America must win. Our leaders must protect our competitive edge. Choose Advil Liquid Gels for faster, stronger, and longer-lasting relief than Tylenol.
I gotta pee.
Doctors recommend Prolase stool softener for gentle, dependable relief from constipation. It's so gentle, doctors even recommend it during pregnancy and after surgery. Prolase increases water in the stool, making it softer, smooth, and easier to go. No harsh laxatives, cramping, or straining. Prolase.
Sail through the heart of historic cities and unforgettable scenery with Viking. Unpack once and get closer to iconic landmarks, local life, and cultural treasures. Because when you experience Europe on a Viking longship, you'll spend less time getting there and more time being there. Viking, exploring the world in comfort.
You seem kind of sluggish today.
Things are really moving.
You can use some Metamucil.
Metamucil psyllium fiber helps keep your digestive system moving so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil keeps you moving. And try Metamucil delicious lemonade flavor.
You on guard today? Oh, no. It just got Simply Safe. It protects the whole home inside and out.
Stop. This is Simply Safe.
Whoa. That was impressive. There's no second like Simply Safe.
Oh, don't forget, dinner with my boss.
Drink. That's what it is that we say today. Ultimate all in one. It's superior to all food scene and chocolate.
If you're not functionally convinced,
Party free.
Kids, I'm sure you're wondering why we're in my hands strangely.
when I won the universe,
You're not going to go to school anymore?
we did win the lottery.
The all-you-can-eat lottery. Won't need a lottery of this.
Dan made progress with his mental health, but his medication caused unintentional movements in his face, hands, and feet called tardive dyskinesia, or TD. So his doctor prescribed Austedo XR, a once-daily extended-release TD treatment for adults. Austedo XR significantly reduced Dan's TD movements. Some people saw a response as early as 2 weeks. With Austedo XR, Dan can stay on his mental health meds. There.
Austedo XR can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Pay close attention to and call your doctor if you become depressed, have some changes in mood, or suicidal thought. Don't take if you have liver problems, are taking Rosarpine, tetrabenazine, or valbenazine. Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking, or sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the muscle growth, insomnia, and sleepiness.
Ask your doctor for Austedo XR.
United States of Scandal with Gene Tapper on Sunday at 9 on CNN.
This is the beginning of Liberation Day in America. We're going to take back just some of the money that has been taken from us. Businesses coming back to the United States so that they don't have to pay tariffs.
President Trump promising a new set of hefty tariffs will boost the U.S. economy. But the details of Wednesday's rollout are frankly still murky. And this we know. The much talked about 25% tariff on all imported cars is set to take effect this Thursday. Will Americans have to swallow the higher prices? With me now, business leaders directly impacted by Trump's sweeping gambit. Russ Richardson, a car salesman in Pittsburgh. Dominic Cortez, founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association. Glad to see all of you guys here. I want to begin with you, Russ, because I am curious. Are people rushing to your car dealership ahead of all of these expected tariffs? I mean, how much will it impact your business?
Yeah, absolutely. And not just at my dealership, but I'm well connected in the automotive industry, and a lot of dealerships posted a record month, and a lot of that came in the last week of the month as these tariffs went from a maybe to almost a certainty that is about to happen. What is going to happen moving forward after the tariffs come out is really a wait and see type of thing. A lot of manufacturers have been hush-hush on what they're going to do. To my knowledge, the only manufacturer that has come out and said what they're going to do is BMW. And they're going to price protect their dealers and consumers through May. Other than that, every manufacturer has not really said much.
I mean, May is a hop, skip, and a jump away. It must be very, very disconcerting and anxiety-ridden to have this uncertainty in some respects of what's next. I mean, John, I want to ask you, because Trump has expressed his love for farmers, but has asked the key constituency to what he says is to, quote, bear with him. Give me a reality check. What are you hearing from farmers?
Well, first of all, this is going to be the president's one of his biggest mistakes, imposing tariffs. And I feel like it's casting a cloud of uncertainty for America's farmers. Every time the president says the word tariffs, the price drops, and people don't understand that the key things that America still does better than any other part of the world is produce corn. We don't have to ship them out and bring them back and do anything to them. It's ready to go. And the president is bargaining and gambling with America's farmers' future. And he's going to put a lot of us out of business. And I asked the question tonight, how American is that? This is a body of people, America's farmers, that voted for this president overwhelmingly. I didn't. But many farmers in this country supported him, put his face boards out on their farms, and believe that this president is going to help us. And right now, America's farmers are suffering. They don't have farm operating laws. And here it is, planting season. And the president says we have to wait. And he made some sarcastic remark that America's farmers can find new markets at home. China is America's biggest market, for soybeans. Mexico is America's biggest purchaser of American corn. This president is going down the wrong path, and he's destroying American agriculture in this country.
Dominic, from cars to what's happening with farmers, I am curious about what's happening with home builders, because economists expect home builders to pull back in the coming months. How could these tariffs add to the cost of buying a home for Americans, let alone building?
The truth is that we are expecting the cost of the lumber package to go up for a new home. It's estimated to be somewhere in the $7,500 range. But I think there's some pain that'll be experienced here, and there may be some long-term gain in the fact that there really is a lot of domestic lumber that is produced that we don't buy domestically. We're relying on Canadian lumber, but we do have the capacity to produce lumber here to sustain our needs. And I think you might see a shift, Laura, to a more domestic lumber production.
Well, that'd be quite promising to think about tapping into that inventory. Russ, let me go to you, because the president says he, quote, couldn't care less if auto tariffs raise car prices. What would you tell the president in response? Should he care?
Yeah, I mean, there is some short-term pain that might be felt from this, but I do ultimately think that in the attempt to bring back manufacturing jobs to the United States, that is something beneficial to the U.S. You know, there will be, this burden will probably fall on the consumer. You know, some manufacturers might eat the cost, some dealerships might do what they can to make pricing not go up, but at the end of the day, consumers will be the ones who pay this in the short term. Nobody knows what the long-term outlook is on these tariffs. But I do know that bringing manufacturing jobs back. Say that one more time, Laura.
How much more would it cost for a car, you think?
It really depends. A lot of people are estimating $5,000 to $10,000 on the average range. Some cars could go up $50,000. You look at a $250,000 Ford, that gets hit with a 25% tariff. You know, and they pass that on to the consumer. That's still $50,000.
Let me ask you, John, really quickly, too, because Trump has talked about the idea that tariffs are not actually a tax. But will American consumers ultimately bear the brunt of the tariffs that farmers feel?
Yes, and to answer the other question, the president was in office the first time he announced these tariffs on China. The price went, Laura, $16.80 a bushel for American-grown soybeans, all the way down to $6 a bushel. That didn't help the American farm at all. And I don't see it how it's going to help the people in the long run. So, again, I think that the president's playing footsies with America's farmers. He's completely dismantled the Department of Agriculture, laid off workers there, and closing off offices that farmers rely on to go into offices and to do. And the president also said that there'll be the resources coming to America's farmers when he's closing the office. I mean, so he's playing footsie and he's gambling with America's farmers' future in this country. And once you go out of business, it's not like the other thing. When the farmer loses his farm, he loses his services, his livelihood, and he becomes a broken soul. Turn those workers back to USDA and open those up. America's farmers can do business.
Gentlemen, I'm really glad I got a chance to speak with each of you and learn more about your fields and for the American people to hear as well. Thank you. Up next, astronauts Sunny and Butch speaking out about their ordeal in space and what life is like back here on Earth, including their first meal. And is it clever or is it cheating? Meet the internet's newest villain, the Torpedo Man.
I tried everything for my stubborn dandruff, and then I found Nizoral. Nizoral works differently to get to the root cause of dandruff. In fact, its active ingredient is 10 times more effective at fighting fungus, the primary cause of dandruff. Say goodbye to stubborn dandruff with Nizoral. Got this.
Hey, Susan Toothbrush. Big interview, huh? Nice new suit, new haircut, ancient bristle stick. Make the Sonicare switch. All right, now go knock 'em dead, boss. Can I get the Wi-Fi? I'm gonna hang here.
In the off-season, I'm a male and a must. Now I'm relaxed with hands-free Skechers slippers. No bending down, no touching. This technique is important to stand up. Free choice. Free side people. Free competition. Free for companies never use. Free data on American reliable 5G network. Walmart, free your record label is $60. So is your sound engineer. You turn to hire.
Now comes the power of Morgan Stanley.
Mom can speak Walrus? Psoriasis all over. I couldn't get my hair done.
Then psoriatic arthritis. Cosentyx works on both for me.
Scalp psoriasis could mean a 4 times higher risk for psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Find relief that can last. Ask your dermatologist about Cosentyx.
An alternative to pills, Voltaren is a clinically proven arthritis pain relief gel which penetrates deep to target the source of pain with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medicine directly at the source. Voltaren, the joy of movement.
Some things are just better at home, like picking out new floors. For a limited time, get up to 40% off your entire project during our spring sales day. Saving on new floors is just better at home. Call or visit EmpireToday.com for your free in-home consultation. If you feel like you're on the wrong road with your finances, Credit Group can help you push through to a better place.
Because that's how you gain the power to reach your horizons, wherever they may take you. Find your way to money with personalized guidance to improve your credit, savings, taxes, and more. Into a credit card, Carla, you can count on.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
If you or a loved one have mesothelioma, we'll send you a free book to answer questions you may have. Call now and we'll come to you.
800-821-4000.
I get an opportunity, would you guys go up on Starliner again?
Yes.
In case you missed it, they would do it all over again. NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams speaking today for the first time since their long overdue return to Earth. They say they would go back to space on the very same ship whose problems extended their stay 9 months. The astronauts went on to say they plan to learn from their mistakes with the hope of making Starliner successful in the near future. And while they may seem eager to get back to work, they haven't taken the little things for granted since they got back. Sunny revealed her first real meal. She says she got to eat a grilled cheese sandwich the day she returned. And tonight, she told Anderson Cooper about her favorite part.
I think the best thing that night was just to lay down in a bed and go to sleep. I didn't even need a pillow. You know, I was thinking about, will my neck need a pillow? I'm like, nope, I don't need a pillow. I don't care. I just want to lay flat on something. I didn't really want to sit down. I think I don't know if my butt would be ready for a sit down, but a lay down was pretty awesome.
And on another note, did you catch this one? That Yankees grand slam and the record-tying number of home runs they've hit so far this season has some angry baseball fans blaming the bats. Now, Aaron Judge wasn't using this, but many of his teammates were. It's called the torpedo bat. You've seen it in your feed. But other Yankee players are, and it's fueling the surge in home runs. See how it gets fatter a couple inches below the top? Well, they're custom fitted to each player's sweet spot, beefing up the part of the bat where the player most often hits the ball. The internet is losing its mind over whether it's clever or cheating. One user writing, I think the torpedo bats are stupid. Do steroids like a man. Okay? Major League Baseball weighed in and says, well, they're legal. And by
Damn! Why don't you do that? Don't you do that back there?
says, well, they're legal. And by the way, the Yankees aren't the only team that uses them. Thanks for watching, everyone. Anderson Cooper 360 is next.
Tonight on 360, the White House declares case closed on the Signal text chain Fowler. But is it? New reporting tonight on the National Security Advisor who led a reporter into the chat and where he now stands with President Trump. Also, new video of ICE agents searching for a student, a former Fulbright scholar from Harvard, and why she's now fled to Canada. You'll hear from her tonight. And later, we talk to them up in space, and tonight catch up with astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, how they're adjusting to gravity and all the attention and controversy their long mission got. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. In just about 24 hours, we could have our first clear indication of how actual voters are sizing up the first 2 months and 11 days of the second Trump administration. 2 special elections tomorrow in Florida, one to fill the House seat vacated by Matt Gaetz, who was briefly the president's choice for Attorney General. The second to replace former Congressman Mike Waltz, who's now the president's national security advisor.
Play in favor of a new America First policy. President Trump calls it the rating debt. He's been talking about it for weeks, and still exact details are not known, and much seems to change from day to day. But we do know a big official event scheduled Wednesday in the White House Rose Garden. The president and his cabinet expected to be there. Presidential advisors have put forward multiple plans with a variety of options, some with exemptions or delays or negotiations. The ultimate decision now is with the president. Keep in mind, though, when it comes to tariffs, since the start of his second term, President Trump has made an announcement followed by a reversal, then comes some exemptions, sometimes within hours.
It's going to be something that's going to bring a lot of wealth back to our country, tremendous wealth back to our country, actually. And other countries are understanding it because they've been ripping us for 50 years, longer, but they've been ripping us off for years, right from the beginning.
Even before the expected announcement, the vertigo tariffs is in from Wall Street, which has seen its worst quarter since September of 2022. Many economists predicting the higher cost of imports will mean a greater chance of an economic recession in the U.S. this year. Right now, the futures are down across the board in the United States. And around the world, countries are bracing for economic turmoil, with leaders in Europe and Asia ready to fire their own shots in a trade war started by Donald Trump. And again, these are the current markets in the Asia-Pacific region. We can see the Nikkei down flat there. Hong Kong, Shanghai, and the Seoul Kospi all back up in positive territory. More details out from CNN senior politics reporter Stephen Collinson.
He's got the whole world hanging on his every word, and that's just how he likes it. Donald Trump said in an extraordinary White House Oval Office news conference that Liberation Day is beckoning for the United States on April the 2nd. That's the date when he plans to unveil his promised tariffs on U.S. trade partners and foes, which promise potentially to rock the global economy. But we don't know exactly what the president will say. He says that will all be unveiled on Wednesday in the Rose Garden of the White House in an event that will be looked at around the world. Will the president, for example, impose those across-the-board tariffs, dollar for dollar, against countries that put similar duties on U.S. imports? Will he go country by country, try to wring out deals with various U.S. trading partners and other trading blocs? We just don't know. But the risks are huge. Many economists fear that tariffs will push up prices for American consumers who are still feeling the effects of that inflation that came into force during the pandemic years and that has not really dissipated for many Americans who are very frustrated about the price of groceries, of rent, and of mortgages. And the problem there is that if that hurts consumer confidence, that could put the U.S. economy into a cycle of recession. But tariffs are a weapon that Donald Trump has believed in for decades, ever since he was a businessman in New York in the 1980s, when he was warning of the competitiveness of the Japanese economy and said that that could hurt the American economy. Now, the trade foes are China and the European Union, but Trump's belief is still the same. Now, as the president who has few checks on his power, now he put all of those years of economic orthodoxy into practice.
Wendy Cutler is vice president of the Asia Society Policy Institute. Before that, she spent 3 decades as a diplomat and negotiator in the office of the U.S. Trade Representative, where she also served as acting deputy U.S. Trade Representative. Wendy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Right now, financial markets globally are bracing for Liberation Day. Here's the view from Mexico. Listen to this.
Trump triggered this because we used to be in a completely opposite dynamic. Nearshoring, helping global markets. Now we look to get close to the national aspect.
Also, here's the view from Germany. Listen to this.
Next Wednesday could have a major impact on the global stock markets. Quite a few stock market analysts are talking about the fact that it could be the end of the liberal world trade.
You know, we only know we've had a major turning point in history from hindsight, usually, but we're heading towards this big day. Are we now on the eve of ending 80 years of breaking down barriers on trade and trying to end protection in global trade, essentially going back to how it used to be, where every country was every man for themselves?
Well, it sure seems that things are changing drastically on the trade front. We'll have to see how expansive the announcement the president will make tomorrow. It's still unclear how many countries will be hit, what the tariff rates will be. Will there be one rate for a group of countries or different rates for each country? And how he will implement these tariffs. Will they all go into effect right away? Or will he provide a window for negotiation? And I think all of these issues are still under discussion internally. And so this announcement, the magnitude could be enormous, but we could also see an announcement that provides some flexibility as well.
We also have an announcement without clarity, too. That's another option here. According to Beijing state-controlled media, China, Japan and South Korea held economic talks Sunday for the first time in 5 years, vowing to bolster fair trade and strengthen economic ties among them. And we should note here that Japan and South Korea are critical US allies in Asia, and these soon-to-be-announced tariffs appear to be moving them much closer to China, which is a major adversary of the United States. So is this dynamic happening elsewhere around the world, US friends moving closer to rivals out of economic necessity?
Well, absolutely. I think what we're seeing is that countries are viewing the United States as not as a reliable trading partner as we were in the past, and they're looking to reduce their dependence on the U.S. market. So they're looking to forge agreements and to promote cooperation with other trading partners. And I think that's what you're seeing with this trilateral meeting between the trade ministers of China, Japan, and Korea just a couple of days ago.
The official line from the White House continues to be something along the lines of tariffs are manna from heaven. Listen to this.
The message is that tariffs are tax cuts, tariffs are jobs, tariffs are national security, tariffs are great for America, tariffs will make America great again.
That's just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, really. But, what is true is that countries with smaller or developing economies usually benefit more from free trade than major industrialized countries like the United States. But it's still not a zero-sum game. And the important thing in all of this is that the benefits of free trade go way beyond economics. And that seems to be getting lost in the discussions here.
Yeah, I mean, that's clear that, we have a lot of allies and partners all around the world. And as we impose more tariffs against them, I think it's going to make it more difficult to cooperate on other issues that are important to us in the political or the diplomatic or the on the security fronts. So, the impact, while it's going to hit all of the economies and hit the global economy, I think there will be fallout with respect to our overall relations with countries all around the world.
Wendy, thank you so much for being with us there. Wendy Cutler there in Hong Kong. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Live now to Capitol Hill, where Democratic Senator Cory Booker is a little more than 5 hours into a marathon speech on the Senate floor. He's expected to keep talking throughout the night and maybe into Tuesday if he is physically able to do so. The talkathon is Booker's way of protesting recent actions by the Trump administration, including cuts to health care. While Booker keeps talking, the Senate floor will continue to be staffed, and Capitol Police will continue to be on duty. A political earthquake in French politics Monday. French far-right leader Marine Le Pen, who is also frontrunner in the next presidential election, has been officially banned from running, leaving her party scrambling to find a replacement while also crying political interference. The court imposed an immediate 5-year ban on Le Pen after she was found guilty of embezzlement. While the decision is well within the law and has been imposed a number of times on other political leaders in France, Le Pen, along with the National Rally Party leader Jordan Bardella and far-right leaders across Europe, have all accused the court of denying democracy to millions of voters. CNN's Melissa Bell has details.
It was a very combative Marine Le Pen who talked to French Airways in prime time in the wake of the verdict and sentencing that has seen her barred from seeking political office for the next 5 years. This was a trial that concluded in Paris in November. The verdict and the sentencing handed out this Monday saw not just Marine Le Pen, but several of the National Rally's MEPs found guilty of embezzling European funds that should have gone to funding parliamentary assistance, and the court found were in fact the money was used to fund party political workers here in France. That vast system, as the judge described it, spanned several years and was of such severity that she had decided to hand down the most severe sentence sought by the prosecution. Even before she heard it, once Marine Le Pen began to understand what kind of sentencing she was about to receive, she left the courtroom. And it was to that anger that she spoke on French television in the wake of the sentencing, announcing that she's a fighter, that she will not take this sitting down, and that she will do everything she can to fight against what she described as a political decision. The presiding judge in the case, as she delivered the verdict in the sentencing, however, very clear to explain that it was precisely to protect democracy and the affront that had been done to it by this embezzlement of Marine Le Pen's party that she was seeking such severe sentencing. Still, it is now a very political and very loud fight that the leader of the National Front intends to wage against this, and in the name, she hopes, of being able to salvage her political career. Melissa Bell, CNN, Paris.
Almost 4 days now since a deadly and powerful earthquake rocked Myanmar, the so-called golden window, where pulling survivors alive from under the rubble, coming to an end, meaning those trapped all this time in flattened buildings with no access to water are far less likely to survive as time goes on. But rescue efforts do continue. Myanmar's military dictatorship says more than 2,000 people are confirmed dead, with about twice as many injured, several hundred considered missing. CNN's Ivan Watson has a closer look at the search for survivors.
Desperate cries for help. Two teenage girls trapped in an air pocket with their grandmother under the rubble of their home, trying to get the attention of the outside world by banging on concrete with a butter knife. The trio trapped and terrified for 15 hours until rescuers pulled them to safety. Frantic rescue efforts repeated across Myanmar since a deadly 7.7 magnitude earthquake shook the country on Friday. These two women, who asked not to be identified, say they were also trapped when their 5-story hotel in Mandalay collapsed. Could you see outside? Could you see daylight from where you were?
We were trapped in total darkness, but the good thing is we had a phone, and we could use its light to see. If we didn't have that, we could have died. We could see to clear rubble from on top of each other.
They say civilian volunteers from the neighborhood rescued them after 5 frightening hours. Also in Mandalay on Monday, a Chinese rescue team pulled 3 people from the wreckage of a residential high-rise, including a pregnant woman and a little girl. But now, as more time passes, hope starts to dwindle. The majority of those still missing now thought unlikely to be alive. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of people in quake-damaged cities and towns must now find food, clean water, and shelter. Myanmar's military ruler, Min Aung Hlaing, who rules over a closed society and rarely cooperates with the international community, is asking for international aid and help. Already one of the poorest nations in Asia, Myanmar has been further devastated by 4 years of civil war. And the earthquake zone crosses the war's front lines. With its people in desperate need, some have been critical of the military junta.
Why hasn't Min Aung Hlaing sent in all of its military assets for rescue and relief? We don't see any helicopters with rescue and relief. We only see civilians digging into the rubble.
Some lucky survivors in this majority Buddhist country are giving thanks to a higher power.
While being trapped, we learned that nothing is permanent, and the most important thing to do before death is to live a happy life and do many good deeds. Don't do bad things, because karma will follow you.
They say they may become nuns to show their gratitude for their miraculous escape. Ivan Watson, CNN.
Find out how you can help Myanmar earthquake survivors. Please go to cnn.com/impact. Beijing orders new military drills around Taiwan, again escalating tensions in the region. The very latest in a live report after a short break.
Are you sitting right now
It could be harming your health. Back pain, stress, and serious health risks can build up from sitting too long. But motion changes everything. Introducing Ready Rocker with its patented Rock Perfect design that supports your spine as it helps improve posture, relieve back pain, boost circulation, and release endorphins for your overall well-being, no matter where you are. Lightweight, portable, and covered in memory foam, Ready Rocker instantly transforms any chair or space into a healthier sitting experience.
Sitting too long isn't just uncomfortable, it's unhealthy. With Ready Rocker, we make sitting a healthier experience for people of all ages.
From soothing babies to helping with posture, back pain, and stress, we discovered that rocking can truly improve health. Sitting is the new smoking. A sedentary lifestyle, whether you're sitting at a desk or in a vehicle all day, is not good for the body to just stay in that same position. And that's why the Ready Rocker is so effective. The rocking motion constantly keeps you active and helps you ease pain, reduces stress. It's a mood booster.
I used to be in pain all the time, but with Ready Rocker, I felt relief, and I'm in a better mood. I take it everywhere.
I can literally feel the stress being taken off my joints while rocking. My back stopped hurting, my arthritis felt better. It's just wonderful.
Now you can join the movement that's changing lives and helping thousands find relief. Call now or go online to get 40% off your purchase. We'll even ship it for free. Plus, you'll get this bonus smart strap to secure your Ready Rocker and the Ready Rocker protective cover.
Ready Rocker is changing lives one rock at a time.
Now it's your turn to experience the relief for yourself.
Call 1-800-774-1914 or go to buyreadyrocker.com. That's 1-800-774-1914 or go to buyreadyrocker.com. Call now.
Everyday life is filled with everyday messes. You need a vacuum, sweeper, and rags to clean up spills big and small. But now there's an easier way to clean it all. Introducing Ruvio, the powerful cordless hand vac you can take anywhere for quick pickups, messes, and spills. Flip up the built-in dusting brush to clean delicate screens, furniture, and electronics without scratching. The two-stage stainless steel reusable HEPA filtration system helps clean the air of allergens, pet dander, and other airborne particles. And when you're done, simply twist off the dust container so you never have to touch the mess. The Long Life battery gives you the suction power to quick clean kids' messes, pet messes, kitchen messes, bathroom messes, any messes in the garage or in the office. And it's the perfect size to keep in your car for easy cleanups whenever they happen. It's cordless, it's powerful, it's easy, it's Rubio.
This is the only vacuum you need.
This is the most versatile vacuum I've ever owned.
The battery life is incredible. You can just keep on cleaning.
It's cordless, it's light as a feather, it's versatile. You really couldn't ask for anything more in a vacuum.
I really love the convenience of Rubio.
My kids can even grab it and they can clean up their own messes. We use it every day. It's a great fit for our family.
Get Rubio with wall charger and crevice tool, plus the portable charging station for just 4 easy payments of $33. And the shipping is free. But there's still more. We'll take off one payment for you when you order now. You get it all. The Rubio cordless vacuum with charger, crevice tool, and charging station. A total value of $185. Yours for only 3 easy payments of $33. And the shipping is free. Don't mess with messes anymore. Get the one that gets the job done. Get Rubio.
To order, call 1-800-399-3241. That's 1-800-399-3241 or go online to buyrubio.com.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source. This is One World.
The world's top headlines with some of the world's biggest players.
Stories that captivate from 2 unique perspectives.
What does that mean and why the escalation?
One World with Zain Asher and Biana Golodriga. Today on CNN.
New military drills involving China's Army, Navy, Air Force, and Rocket Corps are now underway, with orders from Beijing to close in on Taiwan from multiple directions. The military says will act as a stern warning and forceful deterrent against the opponent. Since when McCarthy joins us live from Hong Kong, so taking further aside, how big are these drills and has there been any response from Taipei?
Well, John, certainly these builds just got underway a few hours ago here in Asia, so we're still watching to see how they develop in terms of duration, in terms of scope, in terms of how many aircraft, how many vessels are ultimately deployed. There are a couple of things that we're paying very close attention to. One of them is what you just mentioned, that there are 4 branches of the military that are involved in these. That's significant, certainly, because it shows that Beijing is trying to ramp up the interoperability between different branches of its military if it were to take some kind of military action against Taiwan in the future. One of those is also the rocket force, and that's in charge of China's missiles. So certainly whenever the rocket force is involved, we're paying close attention to any kind of deployment there. The other is that they're using language talking about how these exercises are related to a blockade of key areas and sea lanes. And that's something that analysts say, again, were Beijing to want to take military action against Taiwan, they may use a blockade as a key strategy in order to do that. Now, we have seen the Taiwan government come out and condemn these drills. They've said that China is a threat to the world order. But we have seen, and I should say too, we have seen, none of this is unprecedented. We have seen, all 4 branches of the military be used before. We have seen this blockade language before. But Beijing has certainly been ramping up its intimidation of Taiwan over the past couple of years. And part of that is when it wants to express displeasure with Taipei for things that have been going on. However, an internal analysis from the Taiwanese government has actually linked this to another factor, which is the recent visit from U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to the region. And we saw Hegseth here in the Philippines late last week, and then he was also in Japan over the weekend. And he had a very strong message during that trip where he said the United States is going to prioritize deterring what he called the Chinese communists. And that was clearly a key focus, talking about how the United States wanted to really bolster its positioning there, strengthen its relationships with allies. He did talk about security in the Taiwan Strait. And so I think that we can also certainly see this as Beijing, not just, even though Beijing is saying this is sending a stern warning to Taiwan over, quote, Taiwan independence, I think we can certainly see this through the lens of the message that Beijing is also trying to send to the United States as it's talking about a pivot to Asia.
Glenn, thanks so much. Glenn McCarthy, live from in Hong Kong, Australia. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Mr. Art of the Deal. Struggling to make any kind of peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Now he's angry with both countries.
Are you still cleaning your floors with a broom and dustpan?
Or down on your hands and knees with paper towels?
Or dragging out your big, heavy vacuum?
Forget about it! George Mary Beth's back with another incredible invention.
It's the Zippy Sweeper, the rechargeable cordless sweeper that's lightweight and compact, with an advanced triangular design that gets into corners and features 360-degree omnidirectional cleaning.
It cleans any mess on top, on floor, even long baseboards, in any direction.
Watch this. It cleans dirt and dust.
All from air.
And his trail of messy little crumbs.
It cleans up wet vegetables.
How about this confetti on the carpet?
How about this broken glass? The secret? Advanced tri-brush technology. There's a separate brush on each side of the unique triangular head. No matter which way you move the triangular cleaning head, the 3 high-speed spinning brushes will sweep every speck from your floor right into the built-in quick-release dirt tray.
Ordinary vacuums can miss messes in corners, but not the Zippy Sweeper. Its triangular head and built-in spinning edge brush pull the dirt out of corners where vacuums miss. With its swiveling head and super low-profile design, you can clean under your furniture without moving it.
The Zippy Cordless Sweeper is 5 times lighter than its average vacuum cleaner, so it's great for cleaning the stairs. Zip into the future with Zippy Sweeper.
Call or go online and get the incredible Zippy Sweeper for just 2 payments of $79.99. But wait, if you call or go online right now, we'll make a payment for you. That's right, just pay $79.99. And that's not all. Call now and you can get a second Zippy Sweeper for 50% off and free shipping. But you have to call now.
Call 1-800-220-7024.
Inside Africa, see a continent in transformation as trailblazers evolve culture, technology, and industry across Africa and beyond. Step into the cage with the fighters shaping mixed martial arts across the continent.
Watch out. Africa's coming. The talent in Africa is coming. You won't soon find out.
Inside Africa on CNN. in association with Zenit Bank.
Let's talk business. This is Marketplace Middle East, where we update you on the latest financial moves across the region, from Dubai to Saudi Arabia, Oman to Egypt. Discover what is transforming the region's economic landscape. Join me for the latest trends and innovations, making investing in the Middle East more attractive.
Marketplace Middle East, Saturday on CNN. My show brings you the latest news and top news makers. Do you feel the Trump administration understands what's at stake? I'll be honest, we have to work on it. I'm on board. Today on CNN.
I'm Christy Lustau in Hong Kong, and this is CNN. Play music. Panera's Cat with Flavor Bagel just got stacked with even more for just $7.99. Meet our new Asiago Bagel Stacks. Choose from the chicken Roma with grilled chicken and green goddess dressing, or spicy steak or zesty Tuscan. Only $7.99 each, and only at Panera for a limited time.
Te lo mereces, así que alza esa cerveza. Puede que no sean parientes, pero aún así son familia. No das solo una mano, das todo el corazón y un montón de músculo, porque se siente bien poder alzar a la comunidad que te vio crecer. Eres un luchador y esta es tu recompensa. Modelo, la marca de los luchadores.
I'm Vicky Hansen in Abu Dhabi, and this is CNN.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Hawes. Let's take a look at today's top story. The world is bracing for Donald Trump's latest announcement on tariffs. The White House says an event has been scheduled for the Rose Garden Wednesday. Today, Donald Trump has called it Liberation Day. Many are expecting dollar-for-dollar tariffs to be imposed on all U.S. trading partners. French far-right leader Marine Le Pen is slamming a court-imposed ban on running for office for the next 5 years. Le Pen was found guilty in an indictment trial Monday. The sentence rules out the frontrunner from France's 2027 presidential election. Two NASA astronauts who recently returned to Earth say they never felt abandoned or stranded during their extended stay on the International Space Station. Judy Williams and Butch Wilmore were scheduled to stay a week on the space station, but technical problems with their spacecraft kept them there more than 9 months. Both say they were honored by the incident in their journey. Donald Trump is threatening to impose secondary tariffs on Russian oil unless Moscow makes a deal to end the war in Ukraine. Over the weekend, the US president said he was, quote, pissed off by Vladimir Putin's lack of cooperation, later adding he believes the Russian president will follow through. Meantime, Donald Trump accuses Ukraine of trying to back out of a rare earth minerals deal, but Ukraine says the US keeps changing the terms. CNN's Claire Sebastian has details.
Well, with efforts to get to the point of a ceasefire in Ukraine essentially stalled, the US appears to be stepping up efforts to get a mineral deal over the line, a central part, of course, of President Trump's strategy to ensure the US gets something in return for helping Ukraine. Two sources familiar with the matter told the original arrangement that was set to be signed on February 27th, the day of that Oval Office spat between Presidents Trump and Zelensky. Well, the new proposal would apparently give the U.S. more access to Ukraine's mineral reserve and would apply to all mineral resources, including oil and gas, according to those sources, who also said it does not contain any promise of post-war security guarantees for Ukraine. Zelensky, who has maintained he's open to signing a mineral deal in principle, let slip some frustration last week. He said on Thursday that the U.S. keeps changing the terms of the deal. And on Friday, he called the new proposal an entirely different document, which contained some things that hadn't been discussed and some things that had already been rejected. On Sunday, President Trump hit back.
I think Zelensky, by the way, I see he's trying to back out of the rare earth deal. And if he does that, he's got some problems, big problems.
The risks for Ukraine are clear. Last time Presidents Trump and Zelensky fell out, the U.S. paused military aid and intelligence sharing, though later reinstated it. The difference now, though, more than a month on, is that Trump is signaling he's also willing to get tough on Russia and ramp up economic pressure to sign on to a ceasefire, without which, of course, the U.S. cannot start reaping the benefits of Ukraine's mineral wealth. That's Bessie in CNN, London.
At least 3 people were killed, several more injured in an Israeli strike on Beirut, according to Lebanon's health ministry. Top 3 floors of a building were hit with 2 missiles, according to the country's national news agency. Israel's military claims the strike targeted a Hezbollah militant, marking the second attack on southern Beirut in recent days, testing a shaky ceasefire between Israel and the Iran-backed military. Well, the White House keeping a close eye on Tuesday's U.S. special elections. In a moment, what the outcome of state races in Wisconsin and Florida could mean for the entire country.
Are you sitting right now? It could be harming your health. Back pain, stress, and serious health risks can build up from sitting too long. But motion changes everything. Introducing Ready Rocker with its patented Rock Perfect design that supports your spine as it helps improve posture, relieve back pain, improve circulation, and release endorphins for your overall well-being, no matter where you are. Lightweight, portable, and covered in memory foam, Ready Rocker instantly transforms any chair or space into a healthier sitting experience.
We make sitting a healthier experience for people of all ages.
From sitting babies to helping with posture, back pain, and sitting is the new smoking. A sedentary lifestyle, whether you're sitting at a desk or in a vehicle all day, is not good for the body to just stay in that same position. And that's why the Ready Rocker is so effective. The rocking motion constantly keeps you active and helps you ease pain, reduces stress. It's a movement stuff.
I used to be in pain. Ready Rocker, children. And I'm in a better mood. I take it everywhere.
I can literally feel the stress being taken off my joints while rocking. My back stopped hurting, my arthritis felt better.
ground team. Time to switch to night vision. Okay, ground team, let's go. Blow the doors and get into the lab. What we need is being stored in a research station in the center of the facility. Move quickly, get through the lab, and get us that data. Looks like some systems are running on an emergency generator. As long as the main switch is off, that won't cause us problems. Keep moving and be ready for resistance. You're no good to us dead. Not quite yet.
You picked the wrong guy. No way.
We should be coming up on the research station.
They got sensors.
The network infrastructure at that place is state-of-the-art. It won't take you long to pull the data.
Hands and knees with paper towels.
Go down the corridor, get in the elevator. Keep going. You need to get to the cooling tunnel. That'll take you out to the sea. Lucky for you, the guards dropped some flares by the pool. Look out for them. All right, get the breathing apparatus on and get in the drink. R&D says there's enough air for you to reach topside. Let's hope they're... should be inbound. Get ready. Let's go. Drop any Merryweather units coming after you, then get out of there.
Or dragging out your big, heavy light.
Means air. It's mini
Sweet socks.
Frost the concept. Finger.
After menopause. But with Weight Watchers, I've lost 50 pounds. I changed, and I needed a plan and understood my change.
A new phase of life deserves a new approach to health. Weight Watchers helps target stubborn weight gain caused by menopause with our proven points program and access to weight loss medication. Find confidence levels at just 4. I finally feel like big. It's going now at WeightWatchers.com.
More people can threatening to impose a secondary tariff on Russian oil, unless Moscow makes it clear they're to the work of Ukraine. Over the weekend, the US President said he was pissed off by Russia's imprisoned lack of cooperation, later adding he believes the Russian president will follow through. Meantime, Donald Trump accuses Ukraine of trying to back out of a rare earth minerals deal, but Ukraine says the US keeps changing the terms in its course of action. As details.
With efforts to get to the point of a ceasefire in Ukraine essentially stalled, the US appears to be stepping up efforts to get a mineral deal over the line. A central part, of course, of President Trump's strategy to ensure the US gets something in return for helping Ukraine. Two sources familiar with the matter told CNN on Friday the US has put forward a new proposal, and one that goes beyond the original arrangement that was set to be signed on February 27th, the day of that Oval Office spat between Presidents Trump and Zelensky. Well, the new proposal would apparently give the US more access to Ukraine's mineral reserves and would apply to all mineral resources, including oil and gas, according to those sources, who also said it does not contain any promise of post-war security guarantees for Ukraine. Zelensky, who has maintained he's open to signing a mineral deal in principle, let slip some frustration last week. He said on Thursday that the US keeps changing the terms of the deal. And on Friday, he called the new proposal an entirely different document, which contained some things that hadn't been discussed and some things that had already been rejected. On Sunday, President Trump hit back.
I think Zelensky, by the way, I see he's trying to back out of the rare earth deal. And if he does that, he's got some problems, big problems.
The risks for Ukraine are clear. Last time Presidents Trump and Zelensky fell out, the U.S. paused military aid and intelligence service, so they can reinstated it. The difference now, though, more than a month on, is Trump is signaling he's also willing to get on Russia and ramp up economic pressure to sign on to the ceasefire, without which, of course, the U.S. would not start losing the benefits of Ukraine's mineral wealth. That's in CNN, Sunday.
At least 3 people were killed, several more injured in an Israeli strike on Beirut, according to the Lebanon Health Ministry. Top 3 floors of a building were hit with shooting through the national emergency. Israel's military claims the strike targeted and Hezbollah militants. The second attack on some of the Beirut today. 50 ceasefire developed in Iran back. Well, the White House keeping a close eye on Tuesday's U.S. special election. In a moment, we'll be unveiled state races in Wisconsin and Florida. Who's me? The entire country.
Are you sitting right now? It could be harming your health. Back pain, stress, and serious health risks can build up from sitting too long. But motion changes everything. Introducing Ready Rocker with its patented Rock Perfect design that supports your spine as it helps improve posture, relieve back pain.
On Wisconsin last fall, it was the narrowest of all the swing states. There is a Supreme Court judicial opening on the ballot. It has always attracted outsized attention, but this year it is something extraordinarily different. Elon Musk has devoted millions of dollars and so much of his time as well to campaigning there for the conservative candidate Brad Schimmel. Elon Musk has been giving out $100 increments to people who signed a petition that would lead them to vote, but he also gave away two separate prizes of $1 million each for people who supported the conservative position. Now, Democrats there are pushing back, trying to say that Elon Musk is essentially trying to buy votes. So this certainly is one of the first and biggest referendums yet of the Trump administration, the Trump presidency. Not only what he has done in office, but also what Elon Musk stands for, as well as his Department of Government Efficiency. So all eyes here at the White House will be on Wisconsin on a Tuesday for the special election. Florida also hosting a special election to fill the congressional seat of Mike Walls. Of course, he's the national security advisor who came under fire for the whole brouhaha over the group chat in Signal, leaking those military plans. But his seat also is up for grabs. It's a safe Republican seat. Generally, Republicans have generally won this, but Democrats believe that they have a chance there to at least make inroads. We shall see. So there's no doubt the first special elections here, the White House keeping an eye on them. It could be a harbinger of things to come. Jeff Zeleny, CNN, the White House.
Thank you for watching CNN Newsroom. I'm John Fords. Please stay with us. I'll be back at more news at the top of the hour. In the meantime, World Sports starts after a short break. See you back here soon.
Are you still cleaning your floors with a broom and dustpan?
Or down on your hands and knees with paper towels?
Or dragging out your big heavy vacuum?
Forget about it! George and Mary Beth back with another incredible invention.
It's the Zippy Sweeper, the rechargeable cordless sweeper that's lightweight and compact, with an advanced triangular design that gets into corners and features 360-degree omnidirectional cleaning.
It cleans any mess on carpets, hard floors, even long baseboards, in any direction.
Watch this. It cleans dirt and dust.
All of her hair.
And his trail of messy little crumbs.
It cleans up wet vegetables.
How about this confetti on the carpet?
How about this broken glass? The secret? Advanced tri-brush technology. There's a separate brush on each side of the unique triangular head. No matter which way you move the triangular cleaning head, the three high-speed spinning brushes will sweep every speck from your floor right into the built-in quick-release dirt tray.
Ordinary vacuums can miss messes in corners, but not the Zippy Sweeper. Its triangular head and built-in spinning edge brush pull the dirt out of corners where vacuums miss. With its swiveling head and super low profile design, you can clean under your...
Why don't you go fuck yourself? Hey girl, why don't you bring me a thing? Huh? That's it.
And listen how you're the club.
Got some cool stuff here for you. What can I get you? Keep your eyes open.
Okay. So, are you ready? This should be pretty easy. I've kept it simple since you all seem pretty simple.
Presidential election has been officially banned from running, leaving her party scrambling to find a replacement while also crying political interference. The court imposed an immediate 5-year ban on Le Pen after she was found guilty of embezzlement. She left the court without waiting to hear the sentence. While the decision is well within the law and has been imposed a number of times on other political leaders in France, Le Pen, along with National Rally Party leader Gordon Bardella and far-right leaders across Europe, have all accused the court of denying democracy to millions of voters.
What the judge is doing here is saying, I'm going to make you ineligible straight away, and I'm doing it precisely to stop you from being able to be elected president. If that's not a political decision, I don't know what is. It's the voters who decide in a democracy, and I'm here to tell them this evening, don't worry, I'm not disheartened. I am like you, scandalized, indignant. But that indignation, that sense of injustice, is maybe another driver in the fight I am waging for them.
Here's CNN's Will Spell with what this actually means for the French political landscape.
It was a very combative Marine Le Pen who took to French airways in prime time in the wake of the verdict and sentencing that has seen her barred from seeking political office for the next 5 years. This was a trial that concluded in Paris in November. The verdict and the sentencing handed out this Monday saw not just Marine Le Pen, but several of the National Rally's MEPs found guilty of embezzling European funds that should have gone to funding parliamentary assistance. The court found were in fact the money was used to fund party political workers here in France. That vast system, as the judge described it, spanned several years and was of such severity that she had decided to hand down the most severe sentence sought by the prosecution. Even before she heard it, once Marine Le Pen began to understand what kind of sentencing she was about to receive, she left the courtroom. And it was to that anger that she spoke on French television in the wake of the sentencing, announcing that she is a fighter, that she will not take this sitting down, and that she will do everything she can to fight against what she described as a political decision. The presiding judge in the case, as she delivered the verdict and the sentencing, however, very clear to explain that it was precisely to protect democracy and the affront that had been done to it by this embezzlement of Marine Le Pen's party, that she was seeking such severe sentencing. Still, it is now a very political and very loud fight that the leader of the National Front intends to wage against this, and in the name, she hopes, of being able to salvage her political career. Melissa Bell, CNN.
We will stay with the story a little longer. Dominic Thomas, CNN's European Affairs commentator, joining us now live from Los Angeles. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me on the show, John.
Okay, so the court's ruling to immediately ban Le Pen from running for office for the next 5 years is without doubt an incredible moment in French politics, but there is no consensus really on why. Here is the convicted embezzler, Marine Le Pen.
Rendez-vous compte, le jour funeste
Do you realize what a dark day this is? Monday, March 31st, 2025. What a dark day this is for our democracy and our country, where millions of French people will be deprived by a judge of the candidate who is considered the favorite for the presidential election. That should scandalize anyone who cares about democracy and the rule of law in reality.
That is straight from the Trump playbook, and it's been echoed by far-right politicians across France and beyond. And just like Trump supporters in the United States, it seems the argument they continue to make fails to mention one key factor. A real crime has been committed, and Le Pen was found guilty.
Yes, and the broader context is that this criminal activity was invested for years, and with a full understanding that a guilty verdict would be scrutinized, and also that accusations of politicizing the legal system would be made. And so I think in this particular the sort of what an appeal would look like, a realization that it would most likely be futile, but also they've got themselves in a trap in a way, because going down the road of appealing this particular sentencing would actually then go about legitimizing a system that they're seeking to decredibilize in order to deflect from the very serious crime that has been committed. And that's why on national television earlier today, she said that ultimately, straight out of the Trump playbook, as you mentioned, this has to go back to the people. And with there, once again, the kind of misunderstanding that the legal system is precisely there to operate independently of politics in order to secure those institutions of the French Republic. And that's what they ultimately did today, John.
If there is some surprise in all of this, it seems to be a surprise that the judge actually went ahead with this immediate ban on Le Pen from running for office. This is not some old, obscure law which came out of from hundreds of years ago. It's been around, for about a decade, it started in 2016. Even Le Pen predicted her political death would happen and she was found guilty. So this isn't out of the blue.
No, it's not, and it's actually then a misunderstanding or a willingness an unwillingness rather to talk about this. In 2016, political embezzlement was upgraded, right, to a ban, a 5-year ban, and so it's gone from being a it ended up being a mandatory sentencing guidelines here. In this particular case, 5 years ineligibility for office. So this was known throughout the particular process. It's just another way to undermine it.
Well, here is the reaction from the US President Donald Trump himself, straight from his playbook. Here he is.
That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. I know all about it, and I don't know if it means conviction, but she was banned for running for 5 years, and she's the leading candidate. That sounds like this country. That sounds very much like this country.
Except it doesn't. Le Pen was found guilty. She'd be held accountable, I assume, for her crimes, and her political career is over. Donald Trump is president, so there doesn't seem to be a lot of comparisons there.
Yeah, well, he's making the comparison by essentially describing witch hunt and basically the law, the courts, the constitution are there when they serve you, and they don't, that they are to be criticized, and that's precisely what Marine Le Pen is attempting to do now. She is right now the front runner in this race, but as we know, the French presidency system, the particularity of it is it's a runoff system, and all 3 times in recent history, where they've looked at candidate early on and made it through to the runoff stage, and there are particular guardrails in place, and the Republican front has been there to block this particular candidate from accessing the presidency. And let's not forget that in the first round of the French presidential elections last time, over 70% of the people did not vote for them. So ultimately moving forward, the appeal of the MAGA agenda is argument remains there without French society, but I don't think that actually she's going to get the kind of traction she hopes to get out of this moving forward.
It will be an interesting time to have French politics without Le Pen there somewhere in the political landscape. That will be the case. Dominic, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. Well, shortages, fear, and a frantic search for survivors. The latest on the devastation from the deadly Myanmar earthquake and the obstacles to now in Greek restoration.
If you're sitting right now, it could be harming your health. Back pain, stress, and serious health risks can build up from sitting too long. But motion changes everything. Introducing Ready Rocker with its patented rock-perfect design that supports your spine as it helps improve posture, relieve back pain, boost circulation, increase endorphins for your overall well-being, no matter where you are. Lightweight, portable, and covered in memory foam, Ready Rocker instantly transforms any chair or space into a healthier sitting experience.
Sitting too long isn't just uncomfortable, it's unhealthy. With Ready Rocker, we make sitting a healthier experience for people of all ages.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Pain and stress. We discovered that rocking can truly improve lives. Sitting is the new smoking. A sedentary lifestyle, whether you're sitting at a desk or in a vehicle all day, is not good for the body to just stay in that same position. And that's why the Ready Rocker is so effective. The rocking motion constantly keeps you active and helps you ease pain, reduces stress. It's a mood booster.
I used to be in pain all the time, but with Ready Rocker, I felt relief, and I'm in a better mood. I take it everywhere.
I can literally feel the stress being taken off my joints while rocking. My back stopped hurting, my arthritis felt better. It's just wonderful.
Now you can join the movement that's changing lives and helping thousands find relief. Call now or go online to get 40% off your purchase. We'll even ship it for free. Plus, you'll get this bonus smart strap to secure your Ready Rocker and the Ready Rocker protective cover.
Ready Rocker is changing lives one rock at a time.
Now it's your turn to experience the relief for yourself.
Call 1-800-774-1914. Go to buyreadyrocker.com. That's 1-800-774-1914 or go to buyreadyrocker.com. Call now. Stay tuned to get this 5-piece bakeware set at $60 value absolutely free. Tired of that pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it. Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new pans from Soften Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before.
Gosh, what I love most about this design is this hammered copper look. It just looks so fantastic hanging in my kitchen.
Wow, this is a beautiful pan. It looks great. Look at those eggs dancing around in there. I tell you, I'm sold. Where do I get these? I love them. My pans are ultra non-stick. Nothing sticks. Even gooey mac and cheese slips out with ease. And look, these sticky candies melted with a torch are no match for hammered pans. Plus, they're super durable, so use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips out of a pan that looks just like you. They're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie, cheesy lasagna, or this whole chicken dinner. Any recipe looks great in these pans, from steak flambe to delicious desserts and delicate fish. Nothing sticks. Plus, the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Similar sets are over $1,000, but you won't pay that. Not $500 or even $300. Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. Quick order now and we'll drop one payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99, and we'll even guarantee it for a full 10 years. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. Together, these are an $80 value, just 100% free. It's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
To order, call 1-800-807-6648 or go to buyhammers.com. That's 1-800-807-6648, or you can order online at buyhammers.com.
I'm Mark Stewart in Beijing, and this is CNN.
My show brings you the latest news and top news makers. Do you feel the Trump administration understand what's at stake?
I'll be honest, we have to work on it. Today on CNN.
With this just into CNN, a gas pipeline has burst in the Malaysian capital, Kuala Lumpur, causing a massive fireball 15 miles away. Authorities say several homes caught fire, others were evacuated. A number of people are being treated for burns, with the full extent of damage is still being assessed. The National Oil Company says the fire erupted just after 8 a.m. local time, and the issue is limited to just one pipeline. Authorities say a valve to that pipeline has now been shut off, which will eventually burn the fire. Almost 4 days now since Myanmar was rocked by a deadly and powerful earthquake, the chance of finding survivors alive under the rubble Ukraine is seemingly unlikely. According to the ruling military dictatorship, more than 2,000 people are confirmed dead, and aftershocks continue to rattle the country. Agents say ongoing communication problems with internet services being cut by the military continue to hamper rescue and relief efforts. But in neighboring Thailand, it's also impacted by the 7.7 magnitude quake. Rescue crews reached one man under a mountain of rubble in the capital Bangkok. CNN's Mike Valerio following all of this live for us from Seoul. So what's the very latest down situation there?
Well, John, we really have three storylines that are changing in this afternoon hour. We're talking about Bangkok, Mandalay, and USAID. So we're going to start with Bangkok. In fact, we're going to take live pictures the control room has up. This is the scene, John, of that 33-story skyscraper that included when the primary and secondary waves of the magnitude 7.7 quake reached 1,000 kilometers away into Bangkok. So ever since, John, that 70
You see that boat in the creek? That's where you're aiming. Wait till the whole team is in the boat and then head out into the ocean. There's a lot of confused voices coming out of my police scanner right now. You know what? I might have just pulled this off. Maybe I am a genius after all.
Noise.
starts to shake. According to her latest killed because of the earthquake. Their classroom crumbling, and 85 other monks, as they were about to begin this exam, also hurt. They all sort of went to the one exit for this classroom. A rescue worker was telling Radio Myanmar late yesterday. So just a sense of the human toll and catastrophe of just a one look at the victims of this quake. Horrifying as more and more of these stories are uncovered. And then finally, USAID. Tammy Bruce, a spokesperson for the State Department in Washington, late yesterday confirming that a USAID team based in the region will be helping with the earthquake relief efforts beginning today on Tuesday. So because USAID has obviously been in the news because of how the Trump administration wants to reshape the agency according to how it thinks it should function, reorganization, changes, cuts, firing people, morphing the organization into its vision of how it wants USAID to operate, you can bet that there will be so much scrutiny, so much attention as to how this team operates, what exactly it's going to do. The government of the United States has said it's going to contribute $2 million, John, through Myanmar-based relief efforts. China, our latest reporting, contributing about $14 million, and it had one of the first teams to arrive just hours after the quake. So no doubt we'll be keeping an eye on those three storylines in the hours ahead, John.
So the earthquake happened Friday. They're getting there Tuesday. Right. Mike, thank you. Mike Valerio there. We'll stay with the story a little longer. We'll go live from Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. And Alexander Matthew is with us now. He's the Asia Pacific Regional Director for the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so rescue efforts after any 7.7 magnitude quake in most parts of the world will always be difficult. They will always come with challenges. But Myanmar seems to be in a category all of its own. We have a natural disaster on top of a political crisis, on top of a multi-sided civil war. So what impact is that all having right now on international rescue efforts?
Well, first of all, it means that some of the most vulnerable people in the world are just being dealt a terrible, terrible blow. I hadn't heard about the story about the monks, but I was there 2 weeks ago, and I was in monasteries and in temples where families were bringing their children to be monks with such pride. They were dressed beautifully, and I thought that they were in a classroom that collapsed upon them and killed them all. It's really heartbreaking. The severity of the vulnerability in Myanmar.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
Anyway, is a country that is listed as one of the 10 most vulnerable countries in the world. 1.4 million of the people who live in Sagaing province are displaced by conflict, so they are living.
Girl, hurry up with this album, please.
I love you. I love you. Get back to me. Please get back to me. Yes. Okay, bye, bro. Hi, Stephanie. I'm one of your biggest fans. One of, like, the best artists in the world. So, hopefully you could get back to me. Yeah, bye.
Girl, like, hurry up and drop this. Like, we need you. Like, we've been hungry. We've been waiting. Like, we're not feeling so much. Like, just drop this album. Let's get right.
Give me the last four of your credit card. I bet my love, you can keep your heart.
Girl, hurry up with this album, please. Girl, like, hurry up and drop this. Like, we need you. Like, we've been hungry. We've been waiting. Like, we're not feeling so much. Like, just drop this album. Let's get right.
Give me the last four of your credit card. I bet my love, you can keep your heart.
Monasteries, it's monks and monasteries providing shelter for them where they have nowhere else to go. They really only earn about $1 a day from daily labor, so they're extremely poor. And now those highly vulnerable people have lost the one shelter they had, and if they survive, they're on the street in extremely hot weather with no access to food or water, at least very little. So the search and rescue effort is, of course, in the first instance about finding people under the rubble, and that is, of course, the right thing to do in the first few days. It's also about clean drinking water. There's no power, no water being pumped, so it's very hard to get clean drinking water. People need shelter. It's very hot, plus 36 degrees last night at the night time. So you can imagine what it's like in the day when people do not feel comfortable going back inside of houses that have been damaged or where there's still tremors and aftershocks. And people need obviously food and medical care, especially if they've been wounded. So you can imagine the range of services that need to be provided. Lots of, not lots, help is arriving. The Myanmar Red Cross is there, they're providing first aid. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies had pre-positioned stocks for 8,000 families. They're being delivered. But given the size of the earthquake, 4,000 is not enough.
Would you say from Michael Herrera, reporter covering the story from Asia, that we now think that USAID will be a presence on the ground Tuesday with that $2 million in assistance for Myanmar? How does that compare to, say, other disasters like this that USAID had been involved in prior to the cuts which we've seen coming from the Trump administration?
It might sound terrible to be giving money a few days after an earthquake, but to be honest, from where I'm sitting, having dealt with these responses for years, the first response is just chapter one. It's just what you have to do in the first few days. The consequence of an earthquake lasts for months, and it lasts for years. People lose their homes, they lose their livelihoods, they lose loved ones, they're traumatized. It really is no good flying in for 4 weeks, handing something out and disappearing again. They still don't have anywhere to live. They still can't earn any income themselves. I am really committed, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies is committed to being alongside these communities for years, not just the next 4 weeks. So the USAID money is coming a little bit later than you might think. It might just miss the search and rescue phase. That doesn't mean it won't be useful. It will go to good use to protect very, very vulnerable people.
And just with regards to the situation in Mandalay,
One of the issues that we've seen over the last few years since the military dictatorship and the coup is that the internet has essentially been cut off and communications has been very difficult before the earthquake. How is that now impacting, trying to get people and rescue efforts into Mandalay, into the second biggest city in Myanmar?
Well, the communications are not great, it's true. I mean, it's not just in Mandalay, to be honest. Just before I was speaking to you, I was on a video call with the Red Cross Societies of Southeast Asia about how they can support emergency assistance into Myanmar. Our colleagues from Myanmar were on the call, but we kept losing them every 2 or 3 minutes. The communications are really not good. They weren't good before the earthquake, and this has probably worsened it. You drive around Mandalay at night or Saigon province after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening, there's no lights, no power. It's pitch dark at 10 o'clock. So these problems are not new. They existed before. It's just that now they're more likely.
Okay, thank you for doing this and for the update on what's happening around there in Myanmar, and obviously this is a long-term issue with a lot of money, a lot of help in the international community. Whether that'll rise or not is another question. Myanmar always seems to be on the end that helps assist things internationally. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
For more information on how you can help Myanmar earthquake victims and survivors, please go to cnn.com/. Well, Beijing orders new military drills around Taiwan, again escalating tensions in the region. Well, the very latest in a live report in just a moment.
I've been looking for you. We're gonna have a good time in here.
This is Noom GLP-1, and this is Cam. Noom is more than meds, which is honestly why I chose Noom. Noom has helped me create really healthy habits. Now, it's just what I do. It's just who I am. I'm Cam, and I've lost 11 pounds in 6 weeks with Noom. Get started at Noom.com.
Are you still cleaning your floors with a broom and dustpan?
Or down on your hands and knees with paper towels?
Or dragging out your big heavy vacuum?
Forget about it! George and Mary Beth back with another incredible invention.
It's the Zippy Sweeper, the rechargeable cordless sweeper that's lightweight and compact, with an advanced triangular design that gets into corners and features 360-degree omnidirectional cleaning.
It cleans any mess on carpets, hard floors, even long baseboards. In air.
And his trail of messy little crumbs.
It cleans up wet vegetables.
How about this confetti on the carpet?
How about this broken glass? The secret? Advanced tri-brush technology. There's a separate brush on each side of the unique triangular head. No matter which way you move the triangular cleaning head, the 3 high-speed spinning brushes will sweep every speck from your floor right into the built-in quick-release dirt tray.
Ordinary vacuums can miss messes in corners, but not the Zippy Sweeper. Its triangular head and built-in spinning edge brush pull the dirt out of corners where vacuums miss. With its swiveling head and super low profile design, you can clean under your furniture without moving it.
The Zippy cordless sweeper is 5 times lighter than an average vacuum cleaner, so it's great for cleaning the stairs. Zip into the future with Zippy Sweeper.
Call or go online and get the incredible Zippy Sweeper for just 2 payments of $79.99. But wait, if you call or go online right now, we'll make a payment for you. That's right, just pay $79.99. And that's not all. Call now and you can get a second Zippy Sweeper for 50% off and free shipping. But you have to call now. Call 1-800-220-7024. This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Discover the land of the rising sun, from the vibrant streets of Tokyo to the enchanting landscapes. Come explore Japan with CNN. Hire my first French and Icelandic and experience the best of this rich nation. A desire to create timeless beauty everywhere. Appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you.
An epic adventure to Japan's remote corners. The future is being designed today.
One blueprint will take you across the UK to explore the game-changing innovations shaping our world. The possibility for sunset villages is absolutely there. From electric-powered boats making waves to green aircraft soaring above.
It takes off and lands vertically, like a helicopter, but it cruises like an airplane.
Join me, Max Foster, as we look into ways the UK is driving innovation into new territory.
Blueprints, see today on CNN.
I'm Mike Valerio in Seoul, South Korea, and this is CNN.
Welcome back everyone. John World, you're watching CNN News. New military drills involving China's Army, Navy, Air Force, and Rocket Force now underway, with orders from Beijing to close in on Taiwan from multiple directions. Move which the military says will act as a stern warning and forceful deterrent. National Security Council chief condemned the drills as reckless and irresponsible. Out of Hong Kong, CNN's Ivan Watson is with us. So Ivan, tell us about what these drills are like, how big they are, how long they're expected to be underway. And when Beijing says the exercises will act as a stern warning and forceful deterrence, against what exactly?
Right. Well, we don't really know many specifics about these drills. They come as somewhat of a surprise, an announcement that came from the Chinese military's Eastern Theater Command. And as you pointed out, it said that they were approaching Taiwan from multiple directions, that this was involving all four branches of the Chinese military. That's the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, and Rocket Force. And that amid a number of kind of these military objectives that they want to perform and exercise at, which includes blockading the island, that it is a serious warning and powerful containment of Taiwan independent separatist forces. And of course, Beijing refuses to, it considers the self-governing democratic island of Taiwan to be effectively a renegade province. And says that it is asserting its sovereignty. Now, Beijing has been stepping up these types of military maneuvers around Taiwan for years. The question is, why is this happening now? In the past, it's been linked to things like a visit of then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan, something Beijing didn't like, or last year's inauguration of the Taiwanese president, who, I might add, was the target of a propaganda video coming out of Eastern Theater Command, ridiculing the president, basically calling him a parasite, President Lai Ching-te, and accusing him of working, conspiring with foreign forces, really directed at him. Now, the Taiwanese government, in response, the defense minister has said that Taiwan is paying attention to this. The only real details we have about the Chinese military assets that are in play here is that he said that the Taiwanese are closely following the Shandong Chinese aircraft carrier group, which he says is operating to the southeast of the island. And this is what more he had to say.
Well, I'd like to point out here that such an action fully reflects it is damaging the peace and stability of the region. It is obvious that China is a very obvious troublemaker. There have been a lot of reports related to corruption problems within the People's Liberation Army. I think they should properly resolve these internal problems instead of destroying peace and stability in the region.
Now, an official in the Taiwanese government, a security official, has gone on to argue that perhaps what Beijing is doing, these military maneuvers, is tied to a recent visit by the new U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, to the Philippines and to Japan, where Hegseth talked about a need to deter China, what he described as a threat of communist China in the region, and to work closely with U.S. allies in the region. That is one official's kind of interpretation of what's taking place here. Again, this is part of a broader pattern, John, that we've seen of aggressive Chinese military maneuvers around this self-governing island.
I'm Vidya, Watson, senior international correspondent, live for After failing to end the war in Ukraine on day one, on day 71, Donald Trump warned secondary tariffs on Russian oil could be imposed unless Moscow starts cooperating. Over the weekend, the US president said he was, quote, pissed off by Vladimir Putin's lack of cooperation, later adding he believes the Russian president will follow. Meanwhile, Donald Trump accuses Ukraine of trying to back out of a rare earth minerals deal, but the Ukrainians say the Americans keep changing the terms. CNN's Liz Fashion has details.
With efforts to get to the point of a ceasefire in Ukraine essentially stalled, the US appears to be stepping up efforts to get a mineral deal over the line, a central part, of course, of President Trump's strategy to ensure the US gets something in return for helping Ukraine. Two sources familiar with the matter told CNN on Friday the US has put forward a new proposal, one that goes beyond the original arrangement that was set to be signed on February 27th, the day of that Oval Office back between Presidents Trump and Zelensky. The new proposal would apparently give the U.S. more access to Ukraine's mineral reserves and would apply to all mineral resources, including oil and gas, according to those sources. It also said it does not contain any promise of post-war security guarantees for Ukraine. Zelensky, who has maintained he's open to signing a mineral deal in principle, let slip some frustration last week. He said on Thursday, the U.S. keeps changing the terms of the deal. On Friday, he called the new proposal an entirely different document, which contained some things that had been discussed and some things that had already been rejected. On Sunday, President Trump hit back.
I think Zelensky, by the way, I see he's trying to back out of the rare earth deal. And if he does that, he's got some problems. Big problems.
The risks for Ukraine are clear. Last time President Trump and Zelensky fell out, the U.S. paused military aid and intelligence sharing. Reinstated it. It's now, though, signaling he's also willing to get Russia to ramp up economic pressure and sign on to a ceasefire, without which, of course, the U.S. cannot start reaping the benefits of Ukraine's mineral wealth. Sebastian, CNN.
Sitting up here on CNN, masked Homeland Security agents on the hunt for a foreign graduate student at Columbia University without offering a reason. She managed to flee to Canada, now sharing her story with CNN.
Stay tuned to get this 5-piece bakeware set at $60 value absolutely free. Tired of that pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn you can't cook in it. Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammock pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before.
Gosh, what I love most about this design is this hammered copper look. It would just look so fantastic hanging in my kitchen.
Wow, this is a beautiful pan. It looks great. Look at those eggs dancing around in there. I'll tell you, I'm sold. Where do I get these? I love them.
Hammock pans are ultra non-stick. Nothing sticks. Even gooey mac and cheese slips out with ease. And look, these sticky candies melted with a torch are no match for hammock pans. Plus, they're super durable, so use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips out and a pan that looks just like new. They're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie, cheesy lasagna, or this whole chicken dinner. Any recipe looks great in these pans, from steak flambe to delicious desserts and delicate fish. Nothing sticks. Plus, the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Similar sets are over $1,000, but you won't pay that. Not $500 or even $300. Get the full 9-piece
piece copper steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. Order now and we'll drop one payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99, and we'll even guarantee it for a full 10 years. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. Together, these are an $80 value. Yours 100% free. That's a huge 15% free shipping. Call or click now.
Order call 1-800-807-6648 or go to buyhammer.com. That's 1-800-807-6648, or you can order online at buyhammer.com.
Are you still cleaning your floors with a broom and dustpan?
Or down on your hands and knees with paper towels?
Or dragging out your big heavy vacuum?
Join the very best back with another incredible invention.
It's the Zippy Sweeper, the rechargeable cordless sweeper that's lightweight and compact, with an advanced triangular design that gets into corners and features 360-degree omnidirectional cleaning.
It cleans any mess on carpets, hard floors, even wall baseboards, in any direction.
Watch this. It cleans dirt and dust,
All from air.
and his trail of messy little crumbs.
It cleans up wet vegetables.
How about this confetti on the carpet?
How about this broken glass? The secret? Advanced tri-brush technology. There's a separate brush on each side of the unique triangular head. No matter which way you move the triangular cleaning head, the 3 high-speed spinning brushes will sweep every speck from your floor right into the built-in quick-release dirt tray.
Ordinary vacuums can miss messes and corners, but not the Zippy Sweeper. Its triangular head and built-in spinning edge brush pull the dirt out of corners where vacuums miss. With its swiveling head and super low robust spine, you can clean under your furniture without moving it.
The Zippy cordless sweeper is 5 times lighter than an average vacuum cleaner. So much great for cleaning the stairs. Zip into the future with Zippy Sweeper.
Call or go online and get the incredible Zippy Sweeper for just 2 payments of $79.99. But wait, if you call or go online right now, we'll make a payment for you. That's right, just pay $79.99. And that's not all. Call now and you can get a second Zippy Sweeper for 50% off and free shipping. But you have to call now. Call 1-800-220-7024. Explore Africa with CNN. Where 54 nations create the fabric of this rich continent. Let's really connect, discover business, and complete trends. Maybe you're seeing something here. Nature and culture. And stories speaking Africa. Today, it's markets around the world.
The energy is amazing. It's so good to be here.
It's CNN.
A week after they went missing, 20 more than a dozen aid workers have been recovered in southern Gaza. The news they died during Israel's renewed military offensive. Aid organizations and the United Nations have expressed outrage over the attacks.
Focus on the targets. And yet we're here today digging up a mass grave of first responders and 78.
Oh, today isn't it? Yep.
Yes. They were hit first. The bodies were buried into this grave. They're digging out their uniforms. They were built on. They were here to save lives. Instead, they ended up in this grave.
More than half of the bodies recovered were identified as members
All right, big money, big money, big money, big money.
ambulances and fire trucks, believing they were being used by Hamas and Islamic Jihad militants.
Oh well.
Ready for revoking
It's not the best, not the worst.
contracts at university, accusing the school of failing to protect students from anti-Semitism in the wake of pro-Palestine.
All right, y'all, I'm going to bed. It is my bedtime. Y'all have a great day at school, work, the gym, whatever y'all plan on doing today. Have fun, be safe.
And will continue to do so.
I will see y'all tomorrow, well, today.
Well, the first knock on the door came about a month ago.
What?
Three border security agents,
You all right?
Columbia PhD students who
Have a good night.